Boom! We are live. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Benzinga Live. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. And just to get started, look at this. Apple absolutely ripping, seemingly out of nowhere today. I mean, markets were choppy again at the open, but I mean, look at this. Apple. This is a 2-day chart. Just absolutely crushing it. We'll check in back on Apple, your top headlines for the day and more. Stay tuned. Let's go ahead, get started.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojacek from Trend Spider. We have a
breaking news. All right, guys, let me know in the chat what stocks you guys are watching, what you're trading out there. To give you guys a quick rundown here in a couple minutes, I'm going to bring on our good friend David Greene. We're going to do some live trading with him. After that, we have Edward Nwokedi at 12:15, Christian Fromhertz at 1 p.m., and then Tim Quast maybe at 1:40. So 4 great guests coming up. And yeah, again, I want to hear what you guys are watching, what you guys are trading out there. But without further ado, we go ahead and bring on my man, David Greene.
My man. What's up, Aaron?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Let me share my chart.
Yeah, please do.
Oh, I am sharing it. I think you gotta pop it up.
Oh,
there.
I gotta pop it up there, huh?
You gotta pop it up there. Get rid of that Apple chart. There we go.
NVIDIA. Something better.
Something better. Now, listen, we can talk about Apple for a couple of minutes, and we'll talk about whatever stocks anybody wants to out there. Look, the market has been rotating from tech to growth, and one day it's one thing, and the next day it's the next thing, right? For tech was out of favor for what, a week, maybe 10 days, and now it's coming back. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Apple. It's my one and only favorite long-term holding, or one of the only ones, and it's always going to be good Apple, right? Peloton was the one that everybody is and still buzzing about today. Been a very good trader for us since this morning, and I guess they announced a new CEO, and the other guy's doing something else now. He's stepping down to do something else, but you know, this was like a coiled spring. I know they still have takeover rumors and stuff, but just technically, when this stock got back above like $28, above all of our moving averages, and I think we could see 42 in the coming days. So that's one stock that we've been trading a lot of today. And it's been in a beautiful, you guys see my charts, it's been in a beautiful uptrend all day. And every time it's pulled back to close to a trend line, it's just gone up, gone up, gone up, gone up. Not crazy about jumping in up here because it's had a gigantic move today. But it's been a good trader for us all day today. He's stepping up. Yes. Are we still trading bros? Yes. And bros right now, it's in a nice uptrend, right? Everything had a nice reversal from this morning. This morning, everything looked like the world was ending again for the first about 30 minutes, and we've done nothing but go up since then. We could go to a daily on bros. And bros looks fine. You know, it's above all the moving averages. Looks okay on a daily chart. And the video was another one today. Everything, again, if we look at this morning, right? Every stock looked horrible this morning for the first like 30 minutes or an hour. And now we just slowly went up, and looks like probably going to hold this for the rest of the day, I would think. So we're looking to buy, you know, NVIDIA, AMD, some of these things if we get pullbacks to the trend lines. Bro was 50 cents off the pivot point. Yeah. Alcoa, yes. That's been a big winner today, right? All right, we're starting to get a little pullback in AA now. I guess it just got a little overbought this morning. Let's see where we are in a daily in this thing. Yeah, I mean, look, this thing just got a little stretched today at one point, right? Stock was up almost $9. So we got a couple of technical levels coming in AA now, and this is a great trading stock. It's so thick that you can have nice tight stops in it. Let's look at AA, guys. I like AA, guys. If we get down to about 69.70, we can do a full trade down there. That'll be $2 off the high. I think we get a bounce from that. We'll put out an order with everybody here. Yes, I'm back, Richie. At
That long-term chart on Alcoa is nice too. It's just been going straight up since the
Yep.
COVID bottom.
Exactly. Well, we go weekly. Yeah, I mean, that's just a beautiful chart. Going way back. Earnings were great. Yeah, it's a good-looking chart. Again, commodities were all doing very, very well earlier today, right? I think everything's coming back a little bit, but gold was up a bunch. Silver was up a bunch. I don't know. This market has been great. That's all I can say. I mean, if you're a trader, right, like we are, we're short-term traders, the volatility has been incredible. And I don't see that going anywhere for a while. I think we're going to have this kind of volatility on a daily basis for a long time from here on out. So, which is good. Good if you're a trader, but sometimes we get these giant moves that aren't so good for long term. But, you know, long term, you always buy stuff as it goes down and comes back to you. So let's see if we can get AA pulled back a little bit here. Microsoft, we're looking for a little short if it gets stretched out here. Spider's getting stretched now. Let's look. I don't know. Let's take a look at the spiders on the daily chart now. I mean, we're not really getting stretched yet, but let's go daily here and see where we are. So look where we are in the daily, everybody, right? We had this, big move down. Now we're kind of sitting right in the middle of everything. So this is what I call we're digesting now. We're sitting right in the middle of everything. And if anyone can tell me where the market's going to go from here, please let me know, because I have no clue. I have no clue. We're right in the middle of everything.
Have you traded Baba at all today?
We looked at Baba this morning. Oops, you're right. Let me make that AA 69.70, not 60.70. What are you looking at, Ken? And where do you get a boom from? Oh, GameStop. Well, what did GameStop just do? Oh, wow. Look at GameStop today, guys and girls. That isn't a beautiful uptrend today, right? Ken just got a fall for moving average. Hey, look, well, we just got an 80 RSI. Let me show you guys what we look at when a stock gets really stretched out like this and we have no technical analysis above, right? The stock just got to an 80 RSI and it's $3 above the moving average. So when something like this happens, we're going to look for the 1 minute chart. And you see when we got this red bar, guys, 1 minute chart, right around 109.80, the stock quickly went down $1. So a couple of people in the room just caught that. When we have no resistance anywhere, we got to look for what we call a far from moving average trade. Is Roku have a future soon? That's a great question, man. David Greene, we in the long green with your experience. Yeah, that was a fast one, Ken. You didn't even get time to post it. Let's look daily in GameStop. So let's look, guys, into GameStop, okay? Daily resistance was about 107.50. And I was pegging this stock to go to $78. That was our weekly level, which we then didn't quite get to. But let's look daily now. This thing looks interesting to me now. Right? We just cleared the 9 and the 15 EMA. Let's call it 107. Well, I would say this now in GameStop. If we hold this 107 level, this thing's got a lot of room to go up from here. So short term, maybe you like GameStop, you can have a 107 stop, right? For today, yeah, I would definitely be looking to buy it on a pullback now. If it pulls back to our trend, 107.30, 106.30, we can buy a little bit now. AMC, you guys know how I feel about AMC and how I felt about AMC for a long, long time, right? I don't like it. I haven't liked it since $60. It's another one, Look how bad this is. This is a daily chart, guys. So unless AMC can show some strength, let's just call it $17. Unless this can show some strength above 17, I don't know. I just read an article about how they're doing, and they had a really good quarter. But, I don't think we're ever going to get back to pre-pandemic levels as far as people going to the movies. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
Not something I like.
But I mean, that's a stock like GameStop that can rip at any time. So
no question about it. So here, my advice to anybody who likes AMC is to play with options. You play some wacky options to the upside, and it's like a lottery ticket, right? That's the only way I would do it.
Daniel's asking about Moderna.
Yeah, that's been a wacky one too, right?
Yeah,
I'll talk to you guys a couple ones that I've been looking at that I want to get long soon. But let's look at Moderna. Look at this morning, 147 we got. So let's just go to the daily chart. Alcohol is really slow. Yeah, let's cancel for now. Cancel Microsoft. That ain't happening. Let's go daily in Myrna. We know what this thing has done, right? Let's even go weekly so we can. $500, okay? So here's a spot that we've been looking for in Myrna where I would get involved. Now we got earnings coming out, right, on the 24th. So the only way I'd be playing Myrna now is with options. But we have a level, a daily chart down around, I'm going to say 130, let's just call it, that we were looking for where I'd be interested in Myrna, down around $130. But the daily chart is horrible. The weekly chart is horrible. At some point, look, now that it seems like the whole world is kind of getting over COVID a little bit now, right? Everyone's a little more comfortable.
But the bull case with Moderna, at least for a long-term trade, is that it's a company outside of just, they have other products outside of just the COVID vaccine. So
I agree 100%. That's why I kind of like it down at that. Again, guys, everything I do is based on technicals, right?
Right.
So for me, it would be a swing trade if we got down around 130 and held that level. Would be really good. I kind of like that. So that's what I think about Myrna. Look at NVAX yesterday. They had some good news, virus news, and today it completely reversed. This thing was $100. What was it yesterday? $101. $101.39. It's down 25 points from where it was yesterday. So these things are, very, 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 very volatile. Twitter. I'm talking few months of swing. Yeah, you're in AMC at 954. All right, let me ask you this, Zeri Bullish. You're in AMC at 954. Did you sell any stock when it get to 40, 50, 60, and 70? That's the question, right? Because I know a lot of people were in at those lower levels, but didn't sell any of it. What up, Brian?
Let's see. Take a quick look at Netflix.
Yeah, sure. Holy Gamestop, guys.
Oh, wow. Never mind. Let's keep looking at.
That's okay. I mean, guys, GameStop, absolutely 100%, 115.45, right? That's our pivot point. That would be $8 above the moving average. Let's definitely have something up there. And you guys can keep looking for the far from moving average trade in this, but I'm going to slap a little something out there at that 115.40. Anyone see any news in GameStop? Or is it just doing what it always does? These wackadoodle things. All right, good. Yeah, we'll put a little bit up at that 115.40. All right, which one did you say, Adam?
Netflix. Yeah.
Well, we know Netflix when the earnings came out, right? It took a bit of a beating. Look.
A bit, yeah.
Netflix isn't going anywhere. They're going to be fine. On a long-term chart now, look, if I didn't buy it at 350, I can't buy it at 400. And there's another one. It's got to clear like $430 to negate the downturn that it's in and the whole downtrend that it's in. So above 430, Netflix is probably okay. I think COVID vaccines are getting harder to speculate and fewer people need it. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Facebook is something that I was looking at to get involved long term. I kind of wanted another couple of down days in this, and we still might get it. If we go to a daily chart, look, a lot of this has nothing to do with their earnings or anything else, right? They're just under scrutiny from everybody. They're getting hit from all countries and everything. But I'm looking, I'd love to see Facebook if we get it around that $200 level. That'd be a long-term investment in Facebook again. Look, I think it's probably okay here long term, but I don't know. A lot of people don't like Zuckerberg and they hate the company. And again, we're only traded based on the technicals anyway. But below 200, I kind of like Facebook. NVIDIA is a stock that we trade every single day. We love trading NVIDIA because it has a lot of volatility and it kind of respects the levels that we have. We're at 249 now. And again, let's look at the daily chart, right? We're kind of right in the middle of everything. We got room to 263 if we're bullish, and we got nice support at 231 if we go down. I just took a little GM short at 112.70. Let's take a look at GM. General Motors. GM or GME? What are you talking about, Willis? GME. You took a little short at 112.70, and I'll add on the pivot point. All right. Technically, absolutely no reason to do 112.70, but see what happens. Thoughts on coin as Bitcoin is rallying? Okay, let's take a look at coin. First, let's take a look at Bitcoin and see where we're at. All right, didn't we get down to like 34,000 or something in Bitcoin?
Yep.
What was the low here?
36 maybe?
32,855. So right around
wow.
33,000 we got to. And yeah, so look what happened up here, guys. Okay. Look what happened when we hit the resistance around 45,500. This is a daily chart. So we had our 200 EMA up there. And we from 33,000 to 45.6. That was a beautiful short. All right, see that? Went right up to our 65 and our 200 EMA, which is resistance. So now we're in a range, right? Little support at 40,000, and we got to get above, let's just call it 46,000 to be bullish again. So we're in the middle of everything. 40,000, 46,000, 40,000 is your support, 46,000 is your resistance. And I think coin is going to look exactly the same on a chart. My betting. Let's look at the daily chart. That's not even as good, but so where are we in coin right now? 205. All right, coin's looking better. So if I'm in, if I'm long coin, 200 is probably my line in the stand, and we got room to 230 if it can just really get going to the upside, Bitcoin. So coin certainly looks better than it did, 7 days ago. And again, that's going to trade directly with Bitcoin. What happened in the GameStop? Holy moly. Holy moly. Nice pullback. All right. Well, we ain't getting our 115.40. Ken, you want to fib a little GameStop, or we just go with the trend 108.40? I like that, guys. So we're looking at GameStop now, and had such a nice move up. So we'll look to buy it when it gets a pullback now. And our trend line is about 108.30. So let's put a little order out. GameStop, see if we get a pullback to 108.30. We will buy some. There's my order. For you guys who are watching, we trade the markets live every single day. This is my Real Interactive Brokers trading account. And we post every trade before we get in them. Palantir. Yeah. I think Peloton, let me get to Francesco. I think Peloton's getting a little short squeeze now. I think that's what we're seeing. And like I said, I think we got room up to this $42 level. And, we've bought this every time it pulled back to a trend line today. And I think we got room up to that 42. So I think Peloton's a buy up to that 42 level, honestly. Palantir. Palantir, I think we bought for the first time a couple of weeks ago when it broke below 12. But this is just, I don't know. It's taking forever for this stock to do anything, right? So let's just call it. It's got to get above 14 to start. I know this is a Kathy Wood special, and this thing was, who knows what it was. I don't know, $40, $45. It's just a horrible, horrible looking chart. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Not great.
No. So again, above 14 would be a little bullish if we were to get above that. A lot of these stocks that were darlings they look like crap now, right? What was else that was good? Donkey Kong, right? All the gambling stocks have really taken it on the chin.
Yeah. Twilio.
TWLO.
Twilio got up to like 430 all the way down to 190 now.
Yep, there it is. So what's changed between 430 and 190, right? 457 and 190. The earnings weren't any different all the way along.
No, they beat every time. And the company reports tomorrow after hours.
I see that 2.9.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is one I was looking at, but the options contracts are crazy because the stock's so volatile and expensive. Well, it's not too expensive, but the contracts are.
Nice job in GameStop, guys. Well, let's take a look. So the earnings are coming out when tomorrow. What's the expected move? So whenever I see a stock, guys, and we want to do something for earnings, first thing I want to do is get the expected move in this stock. And the expected move in TWLO is $30. What that means is, on average, the stock either goes up or down $30 when the earnings are announced, right? So first thing, again, I'll go to my daily chart. We got no support anywhere. We'll go to the weekly chart, and we got no support anywhere. And we're at $196. So 218 is resistance. That's up $22. 237 is resistance. That's up about $50. Let's take a look at the options now. Going with GameStop on a pivot point. I like it, Kent. Let's put our options up in TWLO. Yeah, any stock that has a $30 expected move, Aaron, the options are going to be wackadoodle.
Yeah.
So let's just look at the ones up or down $30 and see what we have to pay for them, right? 196. Yeah. So a 166 put is $4, and a 220 call is $6. I mean, it's crazy, right? And that's just the expected move. But I mean, again, if you have an opinion in it, that's the only way to play it. You can't buy or sell the stock, right? That would be insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to just start a position in common stock, I'd wait till after the earnings, because if they beat and it's at 230, whatever, it's still a huge discount from 450. But if you're looking to play it on the downside, then yeah, maybe buy some of those way out of the money puts and hope it is, 25%, or it goes down 35 or $40 instead of the expected 30.
And another way to do this, if you like this stock long term, I would sell puts, right? Because that way, if it goes, let's say you sell a 160 put for $3, okay? That means if the stock goes down $39, right, to 157, you would start with 100 shares if you did one contract in that. So yeah, if you like the story and you like it long term, that's what I would do. I'd sell like a 160 put. Worst case, I'm long at 157, right? Otherwise, you collect the $300 in premium for every contract that you do. That's what I would be looking to do. And this expires in 3 days. So if this thing don't go down $36, you're making $300. If it does go down $36, I don't mind being long this thing at $157, right?
Right. No, I think that's a great way to play it.
That's the play if you like the company. I might even look to do that a little bit too, because I don't think the stock's going to go down $36. And if it does, I want to be long.
They're in the same business as Amazon's cloud computing and Microsoft's, and they compete with them. And both of those aspects of those companies reported great earnings, great revenue. So I wouldn't expect anything different from Twilio. But the only thing, I mean, they can report great revenue, and then people could say, people would say, oh, the growth is slowing and the stock is down. So, but I don't think it's going to be down $39. Who knows?
But here's the thing: as long as you're willing to be long at $157 to start a long-term position, then that's what you do. It doesn't mean you go all in if it goes down $36. You start there. So you start at 157, you add at 147, 137. You're going to be fine. I'm going to look to do that a little bit later on before the options come out. All right, guys, what's the room doing in GameStop? GameStop just looks like it wants to go higher. Nvidia looks like it wants to go higher. PayPal, you want to short at 122.39. PayPal's dead, Melissa. Yeah, Jay, it could be expensive, on a PE ratio, but from 450 down to, 160, I think it's worth a shot down there. Give us an update on Tilray. No. I'll give you an update on Tilray. Look at this chart, guys and girls. All right? I mean, that is just horrendous. That's a weekly chart. I have not liked these pot stocks since they started coming out. So, again, this is something that if you're in, I don't know, you got to hang out and see what happens. But, see, even when I look for long-term investments, guys and girls, I'm still looking at my technicals to see if I want to get involved in a long-term investment. There is so much competition in the space that Tilray is in that even if they make it legal worldwide, they're going to have problems making money. So that's what I think of Tilray. And again, I'm not, if you're in it, that's great. It's fine. It's all good. Stay away from that. Well, if you're not in it, I would stay away. SNDL is another one that was All these guys stocks were meme stocks, guys, right? SNDL, Tilray at one point. All I saw on TikTok for a long time was SNDL, right?
What were they saying it was going to, 100?
Oh, $100, $50, $500. You know, it's like AMC was going to 10,000. Chances are, yes, Tilray hit 300 at one point, Quantum. It hit $300 one day. I'll never forget that because I was short the stock and I was losing like $150,000.
That's incredible.
It only stayed there for one day.
Did you cut? Did you have to get out, or you just were sitting? No,
absolutely not. We did it in options too. I sold upside calls. I'll never forget it. I sold 250 calls, upside calls, and the stock went to 300 in one day. So it was not pretty. But then it went, I don't know, it just went straight down 200 points in the next week. So ended up being all right.
It's sitting at $6 right now.
Exactly. Steve Jobs did not die for this. We can just grow at home. That's another thing too. Yes. SoFi is another one that we've traded in and out of probably 10 times in the last 6 months or so. And I'm not in it right now. We have been in it. We've been at it. We've been in it. We've been at it. We've made a lot of money trading this thing. Right now, again, I have no opinion in it. And that's the beautiful thing about trading, even your longer term investments. I don't know. If you twisted my arm, I'd still be long SoFi for the long term. But it's just dead money right now.
I'm still in it. I'm still in it for the record, David. I'm with you, man.
Who's that, Spencer?
It is I.
What up, Spence? Oh, you just came in. Did you just come in? You snuck in on me?
Maybe.
Yeah, I still like it long term, but again, I'll look for lower levels and see what's going on. Snap was another interesting one, right? Didn't they come out with really good earnings and pull themselves out of the abyss recently?
Yeah,
somehow.
Stock was up like 60% at one point after hours.
Yeah, this time it was $24. Oh my goodness. Probably a big short interest in that at some point, I would think. And now we're sitting in the middle of everything. And Snapper, I don't know which way it's going to go from here.
What about, do you ever trade Chipotle, or is it
too expensive?
Too expensive?
What is it, CMG, I think? CMGI?
Yeah, it's like
CMG.
a $1,500 stock right now. But Chipotle reports earnings after the close today.
They do?
Weekly.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. There's another stock.
They were not on my list.
Yes, 228 aftermarket closes.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
Makes sense to sell some. Yeah, if you're in SoFi, you sell upside calls against that too. You sell covered calls. You'll be fine in that. Yeah. I was just wanted to talk about something else, and I'm off kilter now.
I screwed you up with Chipotle. You did mention earlier you had a few stocks you were looking to get.
Yeah,
long.
Facebook was one that, if I had a couple more days down in a row, I'd start buying Facebook. PayPal's another one. This thing has just been getting destroyed. It still can't get out of its own way, PayPal, right? I mean, there has been no real rally in this thing since the earnings came out from $163. But I don't think PayPal's going anywhere. You know what's going to happen with some of these things? Like what happened with Peloton. You're going to start hearing takeover rumors at some point in some of these things. And if not, you'll get a nice tradable bounce out of it from some point anyway. I mean, that's what started the Peloton things. But yeah, maybe we're basing a little bit in PayPal down here now. We'll see what happens in the coming days.
Yeah, I mean, I think PayPal is one that's interesting right now, but I just hate buying anything that's in such a downtrend. And
Me too. I'd rather buy strength than weakness. Let it show a little strength. That's why when I put some of these charts up, and I tell you guys, if it gets above the daily level, at least it's showing a little strength. That's what I like to do too. Unless it gets really stretched where the relative strength is getting ridiculous, then we know we can buy a little bit, at least to start a position in it. Myrna.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, PayPal's still.
It's still a 200. What is it? A $200 billion? $140 billion company. It's a lot of money.
And they're going to continue to make a lot of money. It's just like it's just so out of favor the stock is right now.
That's what happens. Usually when bad earnings come out, I want to look for 3 days down in a row and then start buying some. Right? That's usually what we look for, and then we'll get a bounce. But this one's been like I don't know, 6 days since it's come out, and we didn't really get the stretch out that I wanted to the downside. But I don't know. You're gonna get killed starting to buy PayPal at $120 and adding every $20? Probably not. I don't think. Be careful. The TWO they have gone down significantly the last 3 earnings. Yeah, that's okay. Look, when we're looking at TWLO to be long at a price that we don't mind being long and doing it from options, that's fine. Peloton might be getting stretched again now. Oh my goodness. Well, what we say, guys? 42, right? Well, we're almost there. It is getting a little stretched now, but again, this is a buy until we get to that 42 level. That's just a beautiful chart. All freaking day, every pullback's been a buy. Spies are ripping up too. Sono, I'll look at Sono for you in a minute. Yeah, and again, I look at the daily chart in the spiders, Spence and Aaron, and I have no idea what we're going to do. Look at this. We're right in the middle of everything. I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I mean, I always lean toward the more bullish side just because over time markets go up. But I agree. Like, I think we're just going to continue to see choppiness. At least until there's an establishment. What time frame is this? Are we looking at right now?
That's just a 5-minute chart. I mean, go to the daily, and you can see where we are.
I was going to say, that looks pretty good.
Well, here, check this out. All right? We were looking at this. This hit our weekly trend line. This is the weekly chart when we got right around that 420 level. So on a weekly basis, let's see, we got like 453. That's weekly. We go daily, we're just in a bloody mess here. Just exactly in the middle of everything. So look, the way this market's been for the last month or 2 months, anyone who tells you what's going to happen in the market tomorrow has no clue, let alone 15 minutes from now. It's just been that volatile, which if you're a trader is exactly what you want to see. This is what we want to see.
Yeah, I mean, you must have had some fun days the past couple of weeks.
It's been great. It really has. Yesterday was a great day. Today's been a great day. And this is
I was
going to
say, even yesterday, which seemed like a pretty mundane day, we had that huge drop at what was it, 3:15 p.m. Eastern.
Right
the market just dropped like 1.5% or something out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. Unless you're a long-term investor, which is completely different from what we do, you can't have an opinion on anything. You have to be flexible to change every 5 minutes if that's what you have to do. Something that looks horrible in the morning. I mean, look at the video this morning, right? The video made a low this morning at 240. It's up $10 from there. So if you have an opinion in this stock intraday these days, it's probably not going to work out too well.
Right. All right, folks. All right, David. Where can folks find more from you?
Where are we now? Go to if you want a trial into the room, go to greenroom-live.com, and I'll give you a free trial in the room for the next 5 days. greenroom-live.com and dgreen927@yahoo.com.
I posted that in the chat. Everyone go check it out. David, thank you as always for coming on.
My pleasure, guys.
Next week.
Peace, David.
Have a great day.
All right, Aaron. We got our next guest is in 10 minutes, so we don't have that much time. But after that, after Ed and Nwokedi comes on, we've got like a nice long half-hour gap. We got a lot to talk about in that gap. I want to talk about the 2 trades I made today. I want to talk about
one was a big one though, right?
Well, I mean they're both the same size in terms of dollar value.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the title said big trade, and I don't know. I guess I'll leave it up to you to determine how big a trade it was.
That was me. Spencer didn't even know I was doing that. I just did it and put him on the spot. So
it's okay. No, I had a couple. I hadn't bought anything. Oh gosh, the last thing that I bought, Aaron, that was not like dollar cost averaging, like the last I don't know. Oh wait, I traded the DWAC like 2 months ago, right? That was the last fun thing.
Yeah.
I hadn't bought anything in a while, so I bought 2 things this morning. We can talk about that. I want to talk about the Oscar nominations. I want to talk about.
There's just some news on Bitcoin that we haven't discussed.
There was.
Yeah, I guess the SEC or Department of Justice seized.
Okay.
Let me find the tweet.
SEC, yeah, you know me.
Department of Justice just announced they've arrested 2 individuals and seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin related to the 2016 Bitfinance hack.
Dude, that's it right there. look, I'm not gonna shit on the SEC, right? But like that right there.
It wasn't. Sorry, I missed. It's not the SEC. It was the Department of Justice.
All right, whatever. Government entities. 6 years later. 6 years. You said 2016.
Yeah.
6 years later. Commit a crime now. Pay for it in 6 years. By that point, the money's all gone.
Well, I wonder what's happened. Like, if the Bitcoin, if it stayed in Bitcoin the whole time, the price has appreciated so much since 2016. Like, do you charge them as if it were, say, it was worth $2 million worth of Bitcoin at the time?
I don't know.
Or is it now it's worth $3.6 billion?
How do you, if you're like a regulator or government entity, how do you even get access?
I guess they made a wallet. I guess the Department of Justice has a wallet. Or they seized the whole wallet.
But they would have to like seize your wallet and get your your password, right? Like they would have to get that from you. How else are they going to get it?
Yeah, and Bitcoin was trading lower off this, but I don't know how.
Oh wait, Voodoo is right. I totally forgot. I blanked on the fact that I bought Activision last week. Thank you, Voodoo. I did that during the show. Okay, that didn't count because that was like such a small thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot because we said as long as the deal goes through, you bank in what was it, 20%?
I was referring to my Fidelity account where I do my real stuff. I think I did that on Webull. I bought the Activision. They're sending me these IPOs now. Thanks, Webull. Not interested. Yeah, I bought the Activision at what did I say? It was like 80 something, 79 something. I can check right now. It was in a different account than the one I have open. But yeah, that was a small thing. So do you want to know about the things I bought? The two stocks I bought today?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Do we have a like drum roll or something?
We can do a drum roll. Do we have a drum roll sound effect?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'll bring the chart up on the screen. Let's see. Drum roll. Those two drum rolls. That was freaking weird. Fwonk. FWONK. Fwonk.
You're getting OTC with it, huh?
That's not OTC.
Oh, it's not?
No.
I thought every time a ticker was 5.
Wait, is it OTC? No, it's not OTC. Formula One? Is it really? Yeah, it is. Oh, stand corrected. All right. Liberty Media.
No, I think it's on NASDAQ.
Yeah, it is on NASDAQ. What am I saying? It says it right there.
Yeah.
I did think it was. You're psyching me out here. Not
It
makes a difference. It doesn't make a difference. NASDAQ, FWONK, Fwonk, Liberty Media, Formula One Group. All right. Why did I buy this? First off, those of you who are searching for this might see, there's two Liberty Media Formula One tickers. There's FWONK and FWONA. That's weird. What's the difference? Well, in reality, basically nothing. There's basically two differences. One, the FWONA is your Class A shares. Your FWONK is your Class C shares. The A shares come with voting rights. The C shares have more volume. I bought the C shares. I don't need voting rights. I don't need to vote in corporate governance initiatives. Just I'll be passive. Anyway, Formula One. You guys know this. The sport, Formula One Racing, Liberty Media is the parent company. They own Formula One. Why did I buy this now? I've been thinking about it for 6 months or so, kicking the tires in the back of my mind. Why do it now? Two reasons why I bought this stock now. Reason number one, the time of the year, the calendar. We are now into February. The Formula One, two things are about to happen. One.
Netflix series?
Yeah, Netflix series, exactly right. The Netflix series always, the new season of Drive to Survive always coincides with the start of the current season, because the season obviously is showing last season, right? The prior season. So the new season of Formula One, the first testing is in 2 weeks. February 23rd is the start of the very first testing for the next season of Formula One, and the first race is about a month. It's a month and a half away. March 20th is the first race. So because the Drive to Survive show always coincides with the start of the Formula One season, I thought, okay, we're probably going to get a new season in the next month or so. Season 1 came out on March 8th. Season 2 came out on February 28th. Season 3 came out on March 19th. So in the next month and a half, we're going to get a new Drive to Survive show. Why is that a big deal? Because this show is the driver. Pun fully intended. This show is the catalyst to grow Formula One in the U.S. Netflix doesn't break out rankings for their shows, right? But this is like one of the most watched shows.
Well, yeah, they do.
No, they like show like the top 10, but they don't like show like
yeah.
that's what I meant.
But when it comes out, I bet you it breaks the top 10.
We can look at that
Maybe.
when it comes out. This show is a monster, and there is so much white space for this sport because they're really, in the grand scheme of things, they're not that big in the U.S., but they're huge overseas. They're huge in Western Europe. And I binged this last summer. I knew nothing about the sport before I binged it last summer. And I'm thinking, all right, the season is around the corner. Let me get in on the action. Also, the other reason was I just listened to a podcast from Business Breakdowns about this business, and that got me extra excited. So FWONK has gone into the Fidelity account for a medium to long-term position.
Okay.
That was one trade. The next trade, I feel like should I just do it now, or should I just wait till after our next guest? I feel like
Let's wait. Let's wait.
Feel like wait. Yeah, exactly. Tiny Pie. It's going to be huge. Why is it going to be huge? Because people who follow the sport know that the ending to the last season, the last season that just ended, like a couple months ago, was insane. It was ridiculous. So controversial. So this is going to be the biggest season yet. I'm very excited. I bought Liberty Media. Liberty Media Formula One Group. FWONK.
Can Netflix be a sympathy play here?
No, not really.
I mean, I don't think the series is enough to obviously make like that big of an impact on Netflix's revenue, but just any good press about the show, something like that, maybe get a nice little bump.
But maybe potentially. So anyway, this is the first like medium to long-term buy that I've made in quite some time. Activision notwithstanding, because I guess that does count as a medium-term buy for me, but that has a clear end date. This one does not have a clear end date. So anyway, stock in a clear uptrend. Formula One Liberty Group, and season starts about a month from now, and I'm banking on even more enthusiasm for the sport, for the company, and as people realize, whoa, I can actually invest in Formula One. Let's do that. So obviously a huge uptrend for that, and let's go to a weekly. The one thing I also did, and it wasn't a great indicator per se, is I did go back and look at like how the stock performed around the other releases of the prior seasons. But again, Formula One is so emerging in the U.S. that it didn't really show me any. It basically didn't show me what I wanted to see. Basically, there was no clear pattern. If you go back to February, again, as I said, February or March 2019, February 2020, and March 2021, you had other like things going on in the world, like COVID, that took precedence over that. So no real trend there. But I'm banking on Formula One, and I'm so excited for the next season. I will tell you guys the next stock I bought this morning after our next guest. He is here right now. We're going to switch gears from talking Formula One to talking a combination of real estate and blockchain technology. Ed Nwokedi is the CEO of Red Swan, and we asked Ed to come on today to talk about, to some extent, real estate, because that's what Red Swan does, but mostly to talk about like the tokenization of stuff, of anything, of assets, right? This is one of the main use cases that people will always come back to when they come back to the blockchain. It's the tokenization of things. Well, what does that even really mean? Well, Ed can help us understand that. So without further ado, let's give Ed the special intro, which is right there. Let's get him on Benzinga Live right now. Ed and Nwokedi, CEO of Red Swan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Spencer. Glad to be here.
All right. Glad to have you. So I sort of teed it up a little bit. Red Swan, you guys do tokenize real estate, but before we get to that, can you even explain, like, I guess, what does that mean?
Tokenization is basically taking a hard, durable asset like real estate and putting it on the blockchain in either one unit or in several fractional units. And so it's just a matter of taking the title of something and now registering on the blockchain so that it lives there and is a more secure place to be in terms of distributions, access. So we just use this in a way to make real estate investments more liquid now and also more affordable for investors.
So yeah, maybe you can speak a little bit about why you guys did this. Real estate is not an obscure asset class. It's not emerging really in any way, but it is maybe in a bit of an uptrend right now when you consider that it's in a lot of ways a hedge against inflation. But it's not it's not like NFTs or is what I'm referring to, right? It's real estate, right? It's like the most conventional thing there is outside of maybe gold, right, or oil.
Absolutely.
So why tokenize? Why put real estate on the blockchain?
Well, real estate is an old asset class and is the largest asset class in the world with over $250 trillion of value worldwide. But in commercial real estate, it's been really a game for the wealthy, and so many people don't have access to the value of real estate. And so by putting real estate on the blockchain and then now dividing it into shares, it makes it more attainable for investors to be able to own high quality real estate like everyone else on the institutional side.
So what kind of real estate are we talking about now? Because there's commercial, there's residential, there's multifamily, there's so many different avenues. A lot of people probably think of REITs, right, which are like the public market avenue into real estate. But what
That's
kind
a
of
good
real
question.
estate? Yeah,
that's a good question. Our platform focuses on commercial real estate exclusively. Okay. So we like multifamily assets, we like office buildings, we like hospitality, hotel aspects, retail. The whole gambit of commercial real estate is what we focus on. And we're really looking at the financing of that commercial real estate to make it more inclusive for international investors as well as U.S. investors to participate in.
So is this a case of like you are a real estate guy and you thought, oh, real estate needs to be on the blockchain, this makes so much sense? Or are you like a blockchain guy or like, oh, this real estate is an amazing real world use case for this technology?
A good question. That's right. I'm a real estate guy. I've been in commercial real estate for 17 years. I was executive director for commercial real estate at Cushman & Wakefield for 17 years. And so I fell into blockchain, understanding what that technology is all about and how it can actually affect the capital side of real estate. And a light bulb went off realizing that this was a major benefit to create liquidity for liquid real estate. Typically, real estate is expensive to get into. Is a long process, long-term holds, and also expensive to get out. And so be able to use technology now to fractionalize real estate, make it affordable as low as $1,000 for people to buy skyscrapers, to be able to buy, an Apple store for $1,000 is very attractive, but also not having to wait 5, 10, 15 years to exit and get your money back is also extremely attractive. So by putting liquidity with real estate on the blockchain allows people to be able to sell their shares whenever they want, just like they sell stocks and bonds.
Yeah, I think the hurdles in and the hurdles out, that's probably the biggest the biggest reason people don't play ball, right? Don't participate. It's just it's such a unless you're buying a REIT, basically, it can be a massive pain in the butt to invest in real estate, to buy real estate. I mean, it's amazing, like the whole industry, how little it's been disrupted, how they rely on physical documents and faxing and somehow real estate agents haven't really been disrupted at all. When so many other things, so many aspects of financial services have, it's kind of a crazy thing to think about. Why is real estate so? I don't want to say stuck, but you're in the group that's making it unstuck. But like, what has made real estate so hard to bring to 21st century?
Well, like I said, the big boys in the business control the real estate, and so when you build a skyscraper for $100 million, those who are financing it are writing checks for 20, $40 million. The bank is writing a check for $60 million. These are not the types of assets or investments that the average investor, even if a accredited investor, can get involved in. So that's really the biggest stumbling block, is the cost to get in is very high for the high quality assets. And then also the time period to keep your money locked in is very long. So how many people have a few $1,000,000 they can just put into one asset and hope it does well and then get their money back in 5 or 10 years? Not many people, except for extremely wealthy, are interested in that process. And I think by changing it and making it more liquid and making it more affordable, more people around the world will come into real estate because now it makes more sense.
So can you explain like technologically how this works, as opposed to me going to another investment platform and buying and offering on their site and going through that process? How does the fact that your offerings are on the blockchain and how does technologically explain that difference?
Well, to try to be quick with it, because I don't have too much time, but you basically once you establish the ownership of something in terms of a title, so you know who the owner of it is, now you can take that asset and break it up into a number of pieces based on some metric. Let's just call it, either price per share or a number of square feet per building. And then you can now break it up in those numerical values and put it onto the blockchain. And they have addresses so that everybody who buys one share is recorded to own that one share. But they can buy up to 10 million shares that's available, and that makes it available for a smaller investor to buy behind a larger investor, or for a larger investor to buy all of the shares that they really feel that's what they want. But it just creates more dynamic activity around investing in real estate, just like you're looking at stocks, right? When you buy stocks for Apple, you're not going to buy the entire allotment of Apple stock. You're going to buy the shares that you can afford, and you're going to hope that it goes up and meet your short-term valuation, and then you're going to sell it. Well, that's exactly what we're doing with blockchain, with real estate, making it like a stock, so that is really a digital security in a piece of real estate. And that piece, one shareholder, one share of that real estate allows you to have the benefits of the profit and losses of that real estate, as well as the depreciation, just as if you were, a $500,000 LP investor.
What are you on your own blockchain network, or how does that work?
No, we use the most secure blockchain protocol for digital security, which is ERC 1400. It's just a Ethereum-based protocol, but that's the one that the SEC and the industry feels is most secure right now for issuing digital securities. So we use that as our major protocol to divide up real estate into shares.
What kind of, obviously real estate is like a very, very heavily regulated industry, but crypto a little bit less so. So I'm just curious, like what kind of, well, not a little bit, a lot less so. I'm just curious what kind of regulations that exist to with regards to tokenization.
Good question. The SEC and FINRA are the leading regulators regarding tokenization, and they require that first all investors have to be accredited, and so you know what the accreditation standards are. Then also all investors who are participating have to go through a KYC, so we know who the investor is and make sure they're not on any kind of bad boy list or AML, anti-money laundering list. But once that's established, then there's a process for onboarding a client and also process them through buying shares. But once they've been verified for the year, they're good for the full 12 months of that year. So they don't have to keep coming back to get verified each time. Just once the first time, and then each year they have to update that. But once they're there, they now can look at a variety of properties, whether it be high rises in New York or hotels in Los Angeles, and decide if they want to buy whatever number of shares they can afford to buy. And this gives them an opportunity to spread their wealth and create a portfolio of unique properties that they want. A REIT usually has you buy into a pool of properties that they pick. And sometimes they're picking properties that are good, and sometimes they're picking properties that are bad. And you only have the option to buy, the entire pool of assets as opposed to buying exactly what you want to invest in. So if you're living in California, San Francisco, and you want to buy all the high rises you see in downtown San Francisco, with our process, you can do that. With a REIT, you'd have to buy the high rises in San Francisco as well as, San Diego and New York and Idaho, wherever, as a package, which is sometimes not as attractive.
So, and then Daniel Angel in the chat is getting at what I was trying to get at, which is the tokens that investors can buy. How are they classified? Are they security? Are they securities, or they're just tokens?
They are securities.
Okay.
So, and they are governed by the SEC, unlike NFTs, which are not securities.
Okay.
So when you're buying an investment vehicle where others are putting their money in to make a return, it becomes an investment in a security, which is the process that we follow.
Can you explain the domino process where involving some sort of a deal where, let's say, you invest in a high rise or whatever, a skyscraper in Manhattan or whatever, and then it changes hands, or the deal collapses, or there's some sort of a event. How does that play out down along the blockchain and down the line to the end investors?
Well, I think giving the investors the ability to sell an asset 24/7 by putting it on a secondary exchange to exit prevents those kind of catastrophes. I mean, in hospitality, if you knew that when COVID first hit and you knew that was going to have a detrimental effect on hospitality, you could now put your shares up for sale and sell them at the highest bid. But if you don't have that opportunity, you have to stay in until the sponsor figures out a way to liquidate that asset, and it might be too late, and that asset may get foreclosed by the bank. So I think having the ability independently to exit your investment holding is all the benefits that people want to make sure that they can do a very reasonable job of managing their investments.
What are the downsides here? I'm sure there are downsides. I'm sure let's rephrase it. What are the risks? What are the risks associated with having a tokenized asset on a blockchain that don't exist for regular old, boring, and old-fashioned real estate investments?
Honestly, Spencer, I don't see any risks. The same risks of owning an investment, whether it goes going to go up or go down, is a risk you face. But I think tokenization is more clear, more transparent. When you buy a share from a stockbroker, you don't even get a share. You just go to the statement, and you get a statement with a text on your statement saying what you own. At least when you buy a share of stock that's been digitized, you actually can put that in your digital wallet and hold that share, and it's in your name. You're on the cap table. So I think it's more liquid and more risk free than buying the old-fashioned way, where you don't really know what's going on. You just basically trust the system. Here, you actually don't have to trust the system. You can trust yourself if you know what you have in your wallet, and you can spend it when you want to spend it. If you want to buy more, you can buy more. And I think that's the real key. And you're not paying commissions to get into this transaction like you would on a normal real estate deal. You're not going through a broker that's going to charge you a commission to get into the asset, or a mutual fund is going to charge you a load fee to get into the asset.
Sure.
It's straight investment into commercial real estate.
Can these tokens be staked?
There are ways on staking the token. They're wrapping the token to make it put on the blockchain like a crypto asset, and then you can stake it for yield. So yeah, there's a way that you can actually generate yield from the asset itself. And then because the token you're buying is free of any debt, it's a net asset value, you can stake that net asset value to loan against and borrow against, rather, so you can generate yield from borrowing or loaning money against your collateral. So yes, you can actually have the best of both worlds when you use a digital product as opposed to analog product.
And then as far as the assets or the opportunities in Red Swan that Red Swan provides, what are the terms of those deals? I'm sure, I think I saw the minimum holding period is 1 year.
Yeah, that's a SEC requirement that any U.S. investor who buys an asset has to hold it for 12 months before they can sell it. That's just to prevent like the pump and dump scenarios. But for foreign investors, there's no hold period. They're governed by the SEC. They can buy an asset and turn around and sell the asset whenever they like. But I think the benefit here is look at family offices who buy real estate. 40% of their holdings are in real estate, but they're stuck in that real estate until the sponsor sells the property and returns their capital and profit. Now they buy the same quality real estate, but it's now liquid. If they decide they want to sell it tomorrow, they can put it on the market and sell it and get out. I think it's a major benefit for family offices who are buying a lot of commercial real estate.
How easy or difficult was it for you to create these tokenized assets that are tied to real estate? I'm just wondering why more people haven't done it. Maybe they have.
Well, it's a process. I think that we are benefited that we understand commercial real estate with, having combined over 25 years of commercial real estate structure and finance, but also our team is very smart and literate in blockchain and technology. Yeah. And so we know how to merge those two together. And I'm not saying it's very complicated. I think that to tokenize an asset actually is just following a bunch of steps in terms of setting up a smart contract for the actual token. Then the other part of it is putting it on a platform where people can actually see the assets that are available, read on them, do their due diligence, and then be able to have a technology where they can actually buy shares of those and then put those shares directly into their wallet, or have Red Swan hold it an omnibus account on their behalf like a stockbroker.
Daniel with another good question here from the chat. What about the claim to cash flow? Are you entitled by owning tokenized real estate asset? Are you entitled to dividends from that real estate that the real estate generates?
Absolutely. Owning a share of digital real estate is just like owning a share of non-digital real estate. So if you own a share of LP real estate, you're entitled to the earnings of that property when it's distributed at the end of the year. The same goes for digital real estate when it's distributed. Okay. There's a declaration date. They issue the capital into the wallets of the shareholders, and everybody's now benefited from whatever type of earnings that property has generated for the year or the quarter.
All right. I mean, I'm interested in this again, mostly for the idea that this is a real world use case for blockchain. There's that entire subsector of the crypto community where it's not about Bitcoin, it's about blockchain, bro. And this is that in practice, right? So Ed Nwokedi is the CEO of Red Swan. I threw the link up there on the screen. It's also in the description. It's redswan.io. I'll put it back up there real fast so you all can see that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Spencer. This allows cryptocurrency holders to have a solid asset that's less volatile. So, you always want to have a balanced portfolio. You can have crypto like blockchain that's volatile, but you can also take some of that crypto and buy digital real estate assets, which give you yield and are less volatile and also grow in value.
That's an interesting point. So you could, in a way, it also diversifies your own crypto. It's still crypto, but it diversifies the crypto.
Is digital asset, which is on the same blockchain as crypto. And yes, it diversifies significantly. So you don't have to worry about when Bitcoin crashes that your whole portfolio is going to crash right along with it.
Right. So if you think of your portfolio from your, your retirement portfolio on one hand and all your digital assets on the other, and they both need to be diversified in their own unique way. This is, I guess, one way to diversify whatever digital assets you may have. So
absolutely. And Spencer, you can also buy real estate that's generating, let's say, a 10% yield, and you can take your proceeds, your dividends, and use that dividend to buy more crypto if you like, right? So we can make sure that your dividends are received in whatever type of form of capital you want, whether it be US dollar, USDC, or in Bitcoin. Yeah, so you can actually have the real estate spitting out income that's buying more Bitcoin.
That's interesting. My REIT can't pay me in Bitcoin, to my knowledge.
Well, Red Swan can, so we can pay you in Bitcoin or Ethereum if you like to. I mean, basically, it's your choice what kind of currency you like to have.
All right, Ed Nwokedi, the CEO of Red Swan. Again, the link to the site is in the description. Ed, a pleasure to chat with you. Keep us apprised of developments, and I'm curious to see how the space develops. I'd be very curious to see if you have any copycats, because this, to me, seems like a very logical idea.
Yeah, there are a lot of copycats. I mean, and we welcome the copycats because we like the industry to continue to grow. But more people are leaning in, more companies, more sponsors are trying to get
Yeah.
tokenized, they realize the benefits are much better than being analog.
Makes sense. All right. Thanks a lot, Ed.
Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate being here.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna have we have about 20 minutes or so until we bring on Christian Fromhertz. So let me go back to what I was saying before. And by the way, I want to repeat what I said, that redswan.io is the website. The link is in the description of this video. It's only available to accredited investors for now, though that could change going forward. But very interesting idea, real world applications, actual use cases of blockchain. That was what people were saying in like 2017, right? It was like when Bitcoin was going to 20,000, they're like, oh, it's not about Bitcoin, it's about the blockchain. This is that. It's taken a hot second. It's taken a minute for these use cases to like make themselves clear, but Red Swan's doing that. So I appreciate that. So anyway, back to what I was saying before. So Flonk, right? I acquired. What was my number? 20. This is a small position for me. 25 shares of FWONK at a cost basis of $61.91. I bought this morning, and again, I ran through the thesis. We're buying this ahead of the start of the F1 season and the premiere of the next Drive to Survive documentary series on Netflix. Which I am super bullish on. So we're preempting that. So I bought two things. Formula One in an uptrend. I bought another one that is in a downtrend, but on a very similar idea. And this one actually I may live to regret, or I could regret both of them maybe, Aaron. But I also bought Eli.
Ooh,
Callaway Golf. Okay, now. Why might I regret this? First off, it's in a downtrend. You can clearly see that. But second of all, they report earnings in 2 days. They report earnings Thursday after the close. I bought it anyway. I may regret that, but I bought it anyway.
I think I'm going to buy some with you.
And I've thought about this for about a month. Why a month? Well, a month ago, the PGA Tour announced a similar kind of documentary series like they did with Formula One, but with golf. So they're doing they're taking the same idea, right? We have this niche sport. It's very expensive. There are not that many young fans in the U.S. Let's see if we can duplicate the success we had with Drive to Survive in racing and do that with golf. So I don't know when this series will premiere. They haven't announced it yet. All I know, Aaron, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to my knowledge, the PGA Tour, the season runs like August to August, right? Or September to August, right? I think the new season starts in August, I think.
Yeah, well, kind of.
Kind
now, around this time of the year is really, for all intents and purposes, like when the PGA season starts.
Okay, because you have a major. You have majors in March, April, May, June, July. I think there's one a month.
April is I believe. Masters is the first.
Well, you have the Players Championship. Maybe that's.
It's not. Yeah, Players is
it's not
considered like the fifth.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
So, but again, you have Masters, U.S. Open, Open Championship, and I'm forgetting one of them.
Wait, what'd you say? Masters, PGA, Open.
Oh, I missed the PGA. There you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know when that show will start, or even if it will have the same effect. This one is definitely more of a speculative play. I did buy the equivalent dollar amount, so I bought 50 shares of this. It's the equivalent dollar amount as my Formula One thing.
Here's what I think is interesting about the Callaway chart.
Yeah.
If you look at the pre-COVID levels of about $22.
Yep.
We're only $2.50 off that right now, and what has happened since then is during the pandemic, golf has like boomed. And sure, there are probably people that golf during the pandemic that have since stopped, but there are also people that started golfing for the very first time during the pandemic that are now, going to be lifelong customers of brands like Callaway.
Someone who asked in the chat, who was that? Oh, find me at why not Drive Shack? Very simply, I didn't want to buy a stock that's at an all-time low, which is where Drive Shack is. All right, I try not to make a habit of buying stocks at all-time lows. I don't mind buying stocks in downtrends. I've done it many times before. I do mind buying stocks at all-time lows. So, and also Callaway bought Topgolf, right?
Topgolf,
Okay,
yep.
so I know they paid up for that. That was a very expensive deal for them, but that's an easy way to participate without actually having to go golfing. So this is more speculative, and again, they report earnings in 2 days.
But I think they actually got a great deal on Topgolf because it was during the pandemic.
Oh, I think maybe you're right. Regardless, it was still it was like a big deal for them in terms of the size of the company. Like they're a $4.5 billion company. I think they paid what, like a couple bill for Topgolf.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Callaway buys Topgolf. Let's see what they paid for it.
500 mil, I think.
They paid $2 billion,
Okay.
and they're a $4.5 billion company. So it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, those were the two things that I bought: 25 shares of Flunk and 50 shares of Eli today. Same dollar amount, or roughly the same dollar amount, and definitely more convicted on the Flunk, on the Formula One. But these are my two newest positions.
Oh,
And-
Jay Rice brings up a good point. Waste
Oh,
Management
gosh.
Open is this weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you say that, Jay?
Mike, I was looking at these options. Yeah, I mean, Callaway reports earnings on
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're going to trade options on this, I mean, I would just wait till Thursday before it's after hours or before?
It's after hours.
Yeah, I would just wait till Thursday and trade weeklies because either way, if you're trading options during earnings, it's going to be, kind of one way or the other, kind of binary. But
And I want to echo Jonathan's comment also in the chat, because Jonathan said he played for the first time during the pandemic and he loved it. I golfed for the very first time in my life it was a little bit less than a year ago. It was like last March, I think, or April. I don't remember when exactly. And I never golfed in my life, and I sucked, but I also had a lot of fun. And I thought I could do this again. Now, I haven't done it since, but it's neither here nor there. I am thinking that there's more people out there like me that, like, there's a lot of white space, right? It's no secret. Golf has a very old fan base. Aaron Bree here is the exception to that rule, obviously. But they have an older fan base. There's a lot of room for growth. So that's where the core of my thesis stands for golf. We'll see if the Netflix show can drive similar engagement to what the Formula One show did. So it's kind of the same thesis, two different companies. We shall see how it plays out. Somebody asked what my exit strategy is. So truth be told, I don't really have one. And when I don't have one, I stick to my defaults. And my defaults are one of two things, if I haven't thought too much about it, okay? Default is time horizon of 1 year and then reassess, or 50% drawdown. Like if I lose half my money, that would be those would both be events that would cause me to reassess the trade. And again, they're like not like a trade. It's not like a short-term trade. It's, talking a little bit long, not crazy long term, but reassess after a year or reassess after a 50% drawdown. Did I lose half my money? Do I want to keep owning this thing? So in Flunk's case, Flunk at 30. Do I want to keep owning it? Callaway at 12. Do I want to keep owning it? So those are the two instances where I would reassess my plan. But I don't really have a specific exit plan, to be honest. I kind of just like to hold things.
yeah, there you go.
It's more fun to just buy. I think buying and holding is fun.
Hodling.
Hodling is fun.
It's a position.
Yeah, and again, small stake. I'm in this Fidelity account, and I try not usually when I buy something new, I try to make every new position anywhere from like a single digit position, right? I try not to buy if I'm going to buy a new stock, I'm not going to make it a quarter of my portfolio. I'm not about that life. So I'll make like single digit allocations to new things. So that's where I'm at right now in Formula One and in Eli. And those are the two things that I bought today. So if you agree, hit a 1. If you don't agree, hit a 2. If you don't care, hit a 3 in the chat. All right, let's move on, Aaron. I want to talk Oscars.
Oscars.
Do you know about the Oscar nominations? They came out this morning. Did you know that?
Kind of, just because you told me so.
Okay, I told you. Pop quiz hotshot. Which studio/company got the most Oscar nominations?
Netflix.
Correct. Do we have a correct?
I don't know. I just guessed though. So
wait, do we have a correct sound effect? I don't know if we do.
Congratulations.
There. Congratulations. You got it right. 27 Oscar nominations for Netflix this morning, led by Don't Look Up and this other one that I hadn't, I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of it. There's a lot here that I hadn't heard of. Had you ever heard of oh gosh. The Power of the Dog?
no.
Do you know what that is? I didn't know what that is either. I had to Google it. It's on Netflix. It's like a Western show. It's a Western drama. Anyway, The Power of the Dog got like all the nominations. It got 12 nominations this morning.
Holy cow.
Best Picture, I think like Best Actor, best. There's a lot of stuff in there. It's got Benedict Cumberbatch in it. So The Power of the Dog and Don't Look Up power Netflix to the lead in terms of number of Oscar noms. That was followed by Disney. Netflix got 27. How many did Disney get, you think?
18.
Oh, close. 23. 23 nominations for Disney. I couldn't find a number for HBO/TNT. I don't know how many, or Warner Brothers. I don't know how many they had. Apple had 6, Apple TV Plus, 6 Oscar noms. Amazon had 4 Oscar noms. I want to run through the list of the Best Picture nominees, and you can tell me which ones you've seen.
Okay.
Have you seen Belfast?
No.
Have you seen Coda?
No.
Me neither, but I want to. Don't Look Up.
Yes.
How was it?
Eh.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you seen it?
Yes, I liked it. Drive My Car.
No.
Dune.
No.
Me neither. I never got around to it. King Richard.
Yes.
What'd you think?
I liked it.
Me too. Very good movie. Will Smith got nominated for Best Actor. Licorice Pizza.
No.
I've just heard of that.
Okay.
Nightmare Alley.
Nope.
You didn't see that because no one saw Nightmare Alley. That made like, I think if you Google like Nightmare Alley box office, I think it made like $1 million.
Well, they got a nomination.
No, in all seriousness, it made they re-released it in black. They're re-releasing it in black and white. That's interesting. It made $36 million. This is a big budget movie. It's like it's got Bradley Cooper, Guillermo del Toro directed it. Anyway,
I think I heard about this.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, it was like a historic.
Nobody saw it. Anyway, they got nominated for Best Picture. So Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, we talked about, and West Side Story. Did you see that?
Isn't that an old movie?
They remade it. Steven Spielberg.
Nope.
Oh, me neither. I've seen the old one though. So, what's the difference? I want to know what y'all saw in the chat.
Wait, you can get nominated for a best movie for just remaking an old movie?
Yeah, turns out you can.
And that doesn't seem right.
Why not?
I guess it must be a good remake.
The funny story. Actually, it's not even that funny. But when we were looking at wedding venues, this is a few months ago. We were looking at places in New Jersey, and we went to this place. It's called the Art Factory. This like industrial factory place. And like the very first thing the guy said to us was, "You know West Side Story with Steven Spielberg?" And we were like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, they filmed that here. They filmed like the boxing scene here." And that I was like, "Oh, that was creepy." I kind of wanted to I could get married in a place where they filmed movies like West Side Story.
That's cool.
But we ended up not going with that place.
Damn.
So
Did the other place also have a movie shot there?
No, it was a hotel.
Okay.
Nothing exciting there. Anyway, we have homework, Aaron. We have to watch all these movies and give our honest reviews. There's always a few that I hadn't heard of. I actually am kind of impressed with myself for having heard of almost all of them and having seen a couple. I haven't seen like any of the big ones in the last few years. I don't know if I've seen a Best Picture winner in like five years, but I've seen Don't Look Up. I've seen King Richard. West Side Story. I've seen the original, so that kind of counts for something.
Yeah.
Anyway, Oscar noms, they're out. I also want to see Coda. If anyone's seen Coda, tell me how that is.
I don't know what that is.
Child of Deaf Adults is what Coda stands for.
Okay.
Yeah, Andy Y. It's on the watch list, Andy Y. I'm a big fan. I don't know if this is the style, but I'm a big fan of these new like docu-drama type things where it's like half documentary, half drama. Does that make sense?
I've never heard of this.
Like what was the social media one that they made all about like how social media rots your brain? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? On Netflix, The Social Dilemma. Social Dilemma. It was like half documentary, half drama. It was really cool. I'm a big fan of that format.
Yeah, I'm with you, Christian. Those are the only two that I've seen. Is the one Andy Wise talking about on Netflix?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's about this guy, this con artist. I'll watch stories of con artists all day long. I love that genre.
Like Catch Me If You Can.
Right. Yes, but that's in the genre. I eat that. I've seen it like 4 times.
What's the ticker for the Rumble SPAC that was running yesterday?
CFVI.
Yep.
How was it doing today?
It's up 1%.
Okay. No, but like what price is it at?
It's at 15.24.
All right. Hex 214 Pony. Yeah, I also considered Race, ticker RACE, Ferrari. And you know the crazy thing about Ferrari is they've basically like that company has admitted that like Formula One that is their marketing. Like they don't market Ferrari at all.
Wait,
right?
How is Ferrari a $58 billion company?
Well, if I pull up the chart, you can clearly see that it was not always this way. But in the last, let's see, the low of that move randomly, the end of 2018, this thing was at, we'll call it $100. So it's doubled in 3 years. How? They make a lot of cars.
They do?
It's a $41.5 billion company. But they don't do marketing, right? Their marketing is being in Formula One. Now, they are coming off a pretty bad season. And I'm not about to like the whole idea here was like it was a Formula One trade. It wasn't like a Ferrari trade per se. But no, I did think about it. And also there are other companies like Mercedes, obviously. It trades OTC. I don't know what it is in the US, but Mercedes and Aston Martin also trades, but OTC in the US. And there's one more. Who is it? Or one more that's rumored to join. Is it Porsche? I know Porsche has been rumored.
For what?
For a Formula One team.
Oh. Cool.
Porsche.
I
Porsche trades OTC as well.
What? But so does Volkswagen. And
Yeah.
doesn't Volkswagen own Porsche or part of Porsche?
Yeah, it might be like a joint venture.
I don't understand how that works.
Now, I need to send you all wedding invitations. The invitations didn't go out yet, all right? No one got invitations.
Volkswagen might actually get interesting here.
VLKAY?
VWAGY. VWAGY.
Oh, what am I thinking of? I thought it was VLKAY. Is that maybe it?
Maybe
No.
they have two.
VLKAF. But wait, what was yours? VWAGY?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, that's more liquid. Yeah, the thing with these OTCs, they're not always super liquid. So There's like no volume here.
I think Volkswagen gets very interesting.
Why? I'll pull up a chart.
Their Audi EVs are like really freaking cool, and now they're putting out a more affordable Volkswagen one. Yeah.
Okay. I know that these. It was weird because these. You can't really see it on this chart, but there was a time there where like every traditional automaker was like ripping.
Well, Volkswagen, the rip up in Volkswagen was specifically because of their EV. They were like the talk of the town that they actually had a better battery production capability than like anyone else out there, that they were taking on Tesla in Europe, all this stuff. And now I haven't heard anything about it in the past few months.
Yeah, I mean, you can see how quiet it's been just on the chart. Super quiet. Kind of nothing to see here, honestly. However, if they were to join Formula One, I'm just saying, it's a marketing engine for everything. And then I want to hit on Peloton real fast. Peloton is having itself a day. I'll take a mulligan on this. Okay, so yesterday at like 9:45, I get a phone call from my dad, and he goes, "All right, he goes, I own Spirit Airlines and I own Peloton. What do I do for both? Because Spirit Airlines is merging, right? And Peloton is. Yesterday there was the M&A rumors, and now today the CEO stepped down. And so the Spirit Airlines thing is sort of, it kind of speaks for itself. You really you own it if you believe in airlines, in the company, but the merger is kind of not really a catalyst for the stock in any way. But Peloton, I said, Dad, it had a huge run up Friday after hours. It went to like $33, I think, after hours. It went from like 20, what did it go from, like 24 to, how high did it get? To 35. And at this point, it's like, this is down, now it's down to like, at the time we're having the conversation, it's at like $30. And I was like, Dad, I know you're underwater. You got to take the gift. This is a present. Take the present. And he's like, oh, okay. And he threw out. He said he got out at like 29. And I felt like a genius for not even a day, because look at Peloton today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very surprised by this move. Even on what they say in their earnings and guidance.
Well, that's the thing, is there's so much noise here. So, what do you want to attribute this move to? Do you want to attribute the move to a chorus of people coming out and offering ideas on who could buy Peloton? Because that happened, right? You had the Journal come out last week and say Amazon and Nike. Now you've had Blackwell's Capital, this activist investor firm, come out and they said Lulu, they said Adidas, they said Berkshire, Google, SoftBank. You have Andrew Left coming out from Citron, talking up, being bullish Peloton. So you can attribute it to that. You had a chorus of bulls come out there and say that there is a there there. You can also say, and I suggested this morning, oftentimes when CEOs step down, that's a good thing. The market likes, unless the CEO is like a figurehead and they're more than a CEO, like Elon Musk is more than a CEO to Tesla. But for most CEOs, if your company is embattled, if your stock is down and you step down, the market likes that. They like seeing you out of there. So you could attribute it to that. You could attribute it to the bad news being out of the way. You could attribute it to layoffs. Layoffs means cost reductions, right? There's a lot of things to attribute this to. The bottom line is you're up to $38 here. I kind of think this is not a sustainable move.
Yeah.
Anyone, if you're buying Peloton now,
Why?
why? Yes, that's it. Why?
Our next guest, Christian Fromhertz, is just in the chat right now to us, Spencer. So
no.
it could be a short squeeze as well.
Short squeeze. Christian Fromhertz thinks a short. Let's bring Christian on the show. Let's give him a special intro. and let's see what he says about it. Christian, what's up?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
All right, you're saying short squeeze. I am looking at the short percent of float. I'm seeing 12%, but of course those numbers are not in real time, so it's
Right.
impossible to say. You're watching the tape more closely. Are you just seeing anything that would indicate that?
No, I mean just watching the price action. I think, and my rule is like anything over 10%. It's such a beaten up name that I wouldn't be surprised if there's more short interest than 10% in something like this. And the fundamental story kind of, I would be, if there were no borrow cost or anything like that, and where we are, right now in terms of, there's more of a reopening trade, I think, that's going on today, which we can kind of go through some charts and take a look at. But I just think that people are short this thing because, they're hearing all these stories about, bikes having to be resold, and, secondhand bikes and so forth. And, there's a lot of stories about that, but it just doesn't fit the theme right now of reopening. And I think that if you look at what's some of the names that are really moving today, even like the airlines are having a good day, the hotel stocks, which we'll go over, and things like Live Nation, which I was just in a trade for Live Nation. I think that's kind of the theme. So I could see that some funds being long those names, right? We're also hearing about mask mandates being lifted in some states, right? That kind of goes with that theme. So I would think that there would be a decent amount of funds short. And of course, when you hear about, to me, it sounds suspect, right? That like all of a sudden, all these firms are interested, Amazon, Nike, are they really interested, or is it just a really good story?
That's the thing. That's the thing. You have other people speculating,
right?
But that's not the same as like, and it's all anonymous sources. Well, it's all like it's anonymous sources, but
none of these companies have come out and
No.
confirmed that they're the least bit interested at this point. And I'm
right.
not saying that they're not, but I'm just saying that it's a great story to be like, hey, if I want to cause a short squeeze, and and just because I have those fundamental views that I think that the reopening trade is more in play, that doesn't mean there's a story right now and it's moving the stock. And we've seen this before with things like GameStop, and there wasn't really a strong fundamental view there either, but that didn't matter. So sometimes in the short term these things don't necessarily have to matter. You could put your thinking cap on and think this through, but if there is a decent short interest, you're going to see, a move from 28 to 38, in an hour, and no problem. So I could also go over some levels, by the way, if we want to take a look at where this thing is starting to kind of digest a little bit, using a couple of my indicators, if that's cool with you.
Yeah. Share your screen.
All right, let me bring this share screen.
I just like, I don't know. You can attribute this to a lot of things. To me, it just screams present. This is Christmas, is what this is.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not long, I don't have any position in it, but if I were, I would be taking profits into this. I think it's a nice gift. I do. Not to gift this to someone, but just the stock price going. So there's no confusion here. But yeah, I mean, if you look, so I use what's called volume at price, and I use an indicator that looks at what's called value areas. We call it the market webs. But notice where we're kind of coming up to, right? And notice the other day, we rallied right up to 34, which was a level of high volume where we haven't revisited. And sometimes we'll just take these things out and then digest, right? This is supply that's up here. And also, if you look at this in the terms of the daily, so that was the 1 hour chart, by the way, which I can find some of these, high areas of volume that haven't been revisited. Hence, it's called a virgin point of control. And notice that we've gone right up to here and digested. And then if you want to look at this in terms of the daily chart as well, it's a similar concept on the daily chart. There's one of these value areas where price has not passed through at all, and we're coming right into one of those big volume areas, which is based on, if you look at the market profile, right, it's based on right here. Right? So that's exactly where we're coming into. So I think this is a great spot to take profits. Where I would be wrong is if we could stick above 40, and then the next level up would be 48. But again, we got to, price would have to stay above 40. So I think right now I'm going to call it, is a great place to take some profits. Would I short it? No, I don't think I would, because of the high short interest. But certainly I would be a seller here.
Yeah, I think that you would be a seller anywhere up here, nowhere specific, but anywhere up here.
Yeah, and then if you really want to play the game, because again, in the short term, anything could happen in the short term.
Yeah.
If you're interested, if you think that this thing could explode higher for whatever reason, set your alert at around like $40, right? And then you can, you could play that game if you want to say that would be the next like rung on the ladder. Because I do see another one of these on the daily chart as well, that this could rally up to, if they really want to squeeze this thing, $50, and 47 are the two, or 48, excuse me. So right in that area of 49, 50, 50 would be the next level up, but I wouldn't touch it like in that case, like even for a day trade, unless it like a 1 hour bar closed above $40.
For those wondering, and I was a little bit curious, I just looked it up. The Peloton IPO price was $29, and it actually opened at 27. So it opened below its IPO.
Yeah. See how the markets are never dull. There's always to be something like this that's going on. That's odd, peculiar.
I thought I was a genius yesterday for saying, "Dad, sell your Peloton now."
Yeah.
And what? I don't know. I don't know. And, I mean, hey, if you're long, congratulations, but you're probably underwater, frankly. So,
yeah, I mean, and it all depends, where your cost basis is. If some people are reluctant to take the profits today because they have that in the back of their head that they may be long from a price much higher, but I would ignore that, right? I would think about, as always, like, where do you think the stock is going versus, where it was. And clearly on my charts, I can, tell you where I think that, there's resistance based on volume at price. And I think right here is a good level, to be taking profits or at least like recoup not have such a bad loss.
Are all those red lines potential resistance areas?
Yeah, on here, and same thing to the downside. They were support. They act as, these, were basically from up here. So the faster that you climb up, the more of these supply, levels that sometimes they come back into play, right? So this is one in here, and now this would be further resistance, but you have to be trading outside of value for them to be. So right now we are trading outside of value, but that could change within, a couple hours. So if we don't stay above 34, right, for the day, then you can forget about anything up here.
All I see is an uphill battle is what I see there. Now, and Name is pointing this out in the chat as well. This is a whole different scenario. If you have options on this, if you have calls or puts, and this can mess with the equation substantially here. So,
yeah, I mean, and the options are insane. Unless you're like in and out in 5 minutes, I think the implied volatility is like way over 200%. So, you could just trade the stock if you really want, day trade this around. I wouldn't mess with the options unless you were trying to sell some premium or something like that, because the premium is so juiced right now in the options. So I don't think there's any reason other than that, if you're day trading in and out a couple minutes here and there, if you're not doing that, or if you're not selling premium and taking advantage of the juiced premium, then I would just be trading stock if you were so interested in the name.
Yeah, I'm looking at the options chain right now, and they're pricey. It's interesting. I don't know. They all seem expensive to me. The calls are expensive. The puts are expensive.
The bike is expensive.
Everything is expensive here. The bike
do,
is
do
expensive.
we want to talk about some other things, or do
Yes,
we?
yes.
All
Let's
right.
move off the Peloton.
I just change the ticker. Yeah. So I mean, I think what's really key. So I think to take a step back, the last week or so we've been dealing with a very wishy-washy market. That's a very technical term, by the way. But that's basically just an easy way to describe it. And it's been difficult to kind of figure out like what the themes are really kind of going to be, other than energy. I think everybody knows at this point how strong energy has been, and it's tough to look for new trades. I do think, might as well talk about energy because I mentioned it, but I think, my upside target, and I don't usually do this, but I do think that oil eventually goes up to 101. So I'll give you an upside target.
You are the price is writing the oil to 100 people. You're saying no.
Yeah.
101.
I'm going over. So that's a technical level on my charts, but I don't necessarily think that we get there in a straight line. Notice one of these taken out at 93, Virgin Point of Control taken out. So as long as we stay above 88, I think the energy trade is still, definitely in play, but it's good to see a little bit of rotation and maybe some profit taking out of those energy names. I don't think, that's a very strong market when you just have that one group that is going crazy and there's little to nothing else besides some commodity plays, agriculture plays that have been acting well. So the question is, like, what are some of the other areas besides, because chasing energy now I think is late. And again, I think it's fine if it digests and then kind of regroups a little bit and builds. I think that the energy trade isn't over, but I think for now, I think there's just some more attractive areas. So everybody always seems to think, oh, is it going to be like, is it back into tech and back into growth? I mean, it could be, but I like what I'm seeing in the banks right now, and interest rates are part of the catalyst for that. But your regional bank ETF has been acting really well.
KRE, right?
And I think, I mean, I always start with the ETF, and then I'll look. Right. Depending if I can't find anything that I really like individually, then I may just stick with the ETF because the sector ETF does strip you out of the individual company risk, which is nice, but you may not get as fast of a move. But I do like the trend that's going on here. Is we are trending right now in the regional banks. In the bigger banks and in the investment banks, it's a little bit more difficult, but they're starting to show some signs. Like I'm long Morgan Stanley. I got long Morgan Stanley yesterday. It's not acting the best, right? I want to see a big green bar here, but I'm willing to give it a shot because of this sideways. And I think the last time I think I was on your show a couple weeks ago, and it ran out of steam here. I was long in here, and I think it may have either been prior to earnings or something like that. But it didn't break out. But I'm okay being patient with these things. That even if they don't break out on the first or second go of it, you got to stay with it. And this market is all about being patient. So of the bigger banks, I like that. I like this Ozark bank, right? Great show on Netflix, but also the bank is, doing better than Netflix. So I think Ozark looks pretty good. And then there's other little banks like KeyCorp out of Ohio, which is acting really well too. So it's nice to see. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
If you want to read a bullish take on Bank of the Ozarks, the Wall Street Journal had an article yesterday about that. If you want a bearish take, tune into pre-market prep from this morning. We had a guest on who has been long hated that company.
Really?
That stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you can go. I mean, that's the case. Yeah. If you don't like that, you can look at the ETF. But that and then the other story. So I mean, that's a nice play too. If you look at what's going on with interest rates, we have now taken out the long end of the curve, right? Not what the Fed is messing with the short end, right? But it should work out for them, I believe, with the long end of the curve, with rates going higher here, and we have taken out the March level here, and the market seems to be handling it pretty decently. So I don't want to jinx it, but the Qs are up almost 1%, and it's almost to the point, and I think that's. I'm going to bring up a few different things to ponder, but everybody's used to this relationship where, oh, geez, interest rates are going higher. That means growth stocks are going to get sold off. Well, perhaps it's getting priced in at this point because we don't see that sensitivity today, at least, with interest rates going higher, which they are on the long end of the curve, but we're not seeing growth sell off. So maybe some of this, and I think depending on who you listen to and which strategist or um, broker dealer who's got a view about what's going on with the market, it seems like it's watching the price action that maybe part of this move is priced in regard to interest rates, both on the long end and the short end of the curve. So I'm being somewhat optimistic. One day is not a trend, but I have to say, and this was the story on Friday too. Interest rates were going higher on Friday too, after the jobs report, and we didn't see a breakdown in growth either. Now, the end of the day wasn't particularly a picnic because there was some profit taking, I think. But, it's these things I think are important to kind of observe. And you don't have to make a prediction and say, oh, this is definitely going to happen. But just kind of watch and feel out what's happening with the growth names as interest rates go higher. So the fact that we're not selling off, I think, is a good thing right now.
Yeah, when you said growth, somewhere in that whole thing, you said growth was not selling off, and I guess I would paraphrase and say growth stopped going down, which is
yes, yeah, exactly.
It's a low bar to clear right now, frankly.
Yeah,
but they cleared it. What's interesting, Christian, is I just look over the last week. I like to look at an ETF screener on ETFDB.com, and you see a lot of like really beaten down stuff had a good week, right? Like a lot of like Bitcoin and blockchain ETFs had a good week. Cannabis ETF had a good week. It's sort of and 1 week, obviously, just like you said, one day does not make a trend. Now that just 1 week, frankly, but you had a lot of like beaten down stuff do well last week. I just thought that was interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it just gives you a little bit more trading opportunities too. You don't have to fall in love with some of these areas, but if you're looking for like a bounce or playing a bounce, I think it's good to see some of these other areas participate. And I think Bitcoin, the level that I'm watching in Bitcoin is 44,475, and that's Bitcoin futures. But it's nice to see it kind of come alive a little bit. I don't want to see these things just continue to break down. I know some people look at Bitcoin and Ethereum to think about the market in terms of risk on or risk off. So yeah. I think that there is some relationship with depending on what area of the market that you're looking at, but you are rallying into some resistance here. And I think if you did buy the dip, somewhere in Ethereum or Bitcoin too, I think, the last couple of days of a move, until we can get through this resistance, in which I see Ethereum just right at again, the futures are not that old, but you do have a 200-day moving average coming into play. That would be a great place to lighten up a little bit. And in my opinion, you don't necessarily have to sell your whole position, but if you added on the lows, maybe take off that add.
If you have a question for Ticker, for Christian, drop them in the chat. A question for Ticker works too.
Yeah.
Dimitri asked if you could look at Hilton, HLT.
Yeah, that's a great one, and I wanted to talk about too. So this, as I was started to say earlier about just energy was the primary area as well as commodities. I get excited when I see finally some other areas participating. So it does look like some of these travel names, Hilton, you could see on my chart, you've got some resistance right around this 152. But I think it's a good looking chart if it can kind of hang in here and build. So 152 is the level that I'm watching. And then I would also watch, the move out of the moving averages. I like, wrong symbol. I like Marriott here because Marriott is showing a little bit more leadership. So very close.
Is that an all-time high? What's that?
It might be an all-time high. I think it is. I don't see any. Yeah. It looks to me like an all-time high. If it could kind of close here, and again, I've been doing a lot of looking at the weekly charts as well, but you have to like what you see here in terms of Marriott going higher. So, what's nice about this too is if you look at the, I don't really like to trade the airlines because I just think they're noisy. There's a lot of factors, obviously, I think people are going to be traveling more, but you have to look at the price of the jet fuel going up too. So it's just too difficult. Marriott, at least I could say, it's a little bit more of a pure play on, people wanting to travel. There's probably some headwinds in there too, probably employment costs and that type of thing going up. So it's not without headwinds, but I think it's just a better looking play. And I don't think these names are all that expensive either. So, and again, if you look at if you go one by one through these charts, you're going to see similar price action. Now, some of them do, like Hyatt has some resistance too, but you're going to see that they're all turning up, right? I mean, it should tell you something to see this whole group really start, to move. And then the casinos look pretty good too. Like this Las Vegas Sands, which I think is a great example of a name that was in a downtrend, which is now has just barely found an uptrend to it, back above the 200-day moving average here. So I don't know about you, but are you going to Vegas anytime? So you going to casinos?
Well,
You're a casino guy?
It's funny you asked. I actually am. I'm going to Vegas at least once in the next 4 months. I have a trip
At least
planned.
once, he says. So
yeah. Well, the only reason I say that is because I do have a trip planned, like for a personal trip planned, early April, and then we have our. I don't know how much of this I'm allowed to say, but we have our trading expo that is going to be in Vegas in June.
Gotcha. So you have that in June, and you got a bachelor party, or is that?
Yeah, I got a bachelor party.
Not
mine, but a bachelor party.
I tried to trick him. Yeah. Okay, not
no, it is. You're right. It ain't mine though.
Okay, gotcha.
Although maybe I could just piggyback off of it and co-opt it. But I'm surprised. I didn't realize Marriott was at an all-time high right there. It's pretty.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that too.
Pretty surprising.
Yeah. So I mean, and this isn't, but I like to find trades, trends, and even if you just want to, today's Tuesday, so we got a whole couple days away, and maybe the casino stocks are rallying a little bit on the Super Bowl. They like to rally into the Super Bowl or March Madness. So even for a couple days, if this thing wants to go, and rally up to this 48.60, I think that's a nice little trade.
Hey,
so that could be what's going on too, is that you've got kind of a reopening theme and you got the Super Bowl coming up.
Born to be Free in the chat's going to AC. Born to be Free, when you get back, can you just tell me how it is down there? Because I'm from New Jersey and I want to see AC succeed, but I haven't been since COVID, so I'd be curious to how is it down there? I want to know. What else from the chat? Someone asked if you can look at Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can look at Lockheed Martin, and then after we get to these tickers, I just want to make another comment about Christian and how awesome he is. But let's run through some of these tickers first.
Yeah,
LMT.
So it's been making some nice progress here. It did have earnings. I think the earnings reaction was pretty good. Made a nice move up here, and I mean it's kind of caught in the crosshairs. With geopolitical things going on. But if this thing wants to rally a bit more, and I think you could be long versus 382, and I would have a price target of 417. Right, so that's another area of high volume that has not been revisited since peaked out here. And again, not a real expensive group too, which I think, with this, if interest rates continue to kind of do what they're doing, I think, I'm not historically a big valuation person, but this market's different, right? I think you have to pay attention to whether something is expensive or, cheap in terms of valuation right now, if the trend continues in interest rates.
There was a couple more. I want to run through these quickly. Lockheed Martin. Someone asked about the Qs. Yeah, let's look at the Qs, Christian. Why not?
Yeah, we did get a tiny little.
So I would say everyone slow down until we get to 330. Then we can talk about. Then we can talk about. We'll talk about end of day selling at 330.
We've had like a 0.5% move to the downside in the past.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's really tough to kind of jump into any intraday rally right now because we know that there's been some selling programs, and I think this is to me is a very difficult looking chart right now. One of the things that I said this weekend, and not much has really changed in this chart as well as the S&P chart, is that we just need some more time here. We're digesting, we're going sideways. I know that we've got support down here at 348 and I think could this be retested at some point, or even the lows down here be retested? Sure, it could. But I don't really have a good feel if we're going to come back up here. We know that we got rejected once at the 200-day moving average. And, I think at this point, a little bit of digestion is fine as long as we're not losing it, which it's been, depending on the day, it's, we've had some days where it feels like we're going lower and revisiting down here, but we haven't. So I would watch the 200-day moving average on the bigger picture. And see what we do around there. And similarly, if we start to break this range too, I would watch to see what we do around 348. I do like to look for clues on the 1 hour chart. And 353.77 would be also a nice line in the sand. And, my screen just, right around, let's call it 353.50. And if we break that, then I would be targeting to the downside, if you had a short position on 345. But again, it's very difficult. Notice where we are in this week's value area. We're right in the middle of it, right? So it's kind of, I'm very neutral until I get a signal, basically until we either break down or break above 364. I think it's, for me, like just saying, not being afraid to say, hey, I'm neutral. And I'm going to be patient and wait for a better signal here.
Guys, if you don't follow Christian on Twitter, if you're on Twitter and you don't follow Christian on Twitter, I'm not really sure why. You really, really should. At C Fromhertz. Christian, you tweeted, I think it was last week now. You were like stunningly honest, I thought, like brutally honest with yourself. You posted, first off, you posted your January returns, your P&L, which like props for doing that. And you were brutally honest with your performance, your assessment of yourself, and what worked and what didn't work. And,
absolutely. And thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, I've really, one of the things that I really take pride in is that I've been pretty disciplined when we sell off. And I got into like a bad habit the first week of this year where I was just looking at my P&L too much, right? And I started to say like, okay, well, what, you made a mistake here and there, and I had a trading mistake in the beginning of the year, and rather than what I normally do, I just got way too fixated on that loss, and I try to kind of just make it back, and it was not the right time to be doing that. So it kind of snowballed for me a little bit in the first 2 weeks of the year. And, I think it's important to realize, like, even if you're a super disciplined trader and you've got a good system, right, you still need to follow it. And you have to realize too, that we're all human, right? And, you could have a bad month here and there. And, just realize in this game of trading that, depending, like, I'm a very competitive person. So I was very, like, it really messed me up to be like, wow, what did you do? And, you weren't trading with your eyes on the road ahead. You were doing things like, like a rookie trader, was doing. So I just thought like, hey, these things happen to everybody. It doesn't matter how long you've been trading. And I know it sounds like on Twitter that nobody makes a mistake, right? And, says that, oh, they handled this perfect and that perfect. But in reality, it doesn't work that way. And the best thing that I could say, if you ever, like, if it happened to anybody in January or in general, if it happened to them last year, pick your head up. Don't worry about it, right? Get over it and realize that, this is, sometimes you need a refresher. And I can say this too, is that when I've had these screw ups like this, I get right back into my game plan, because it's almost like you could call it a punch in the face, you could call it a slap in the face if you want some more, insults. But I have had mistakes in the past, and it gets you back to where you need to be. So that's what I take away from it, and not to dwell on the negative.
Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, we'll do one more for quantum. Fine. JO.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll do one more. We'll do
Coffee,
JO and then
come on.
And then coffee futures. This is one of the reasons why I sold my Starbucks, because I was like, coffee futures are insanely expensive right now. Why? How can that not show up on their bottom line? But anyway, see Fromhertz on Twitter. Follow him. He joins us every other Tuesday, I think, at 1:00 to share his thoughts on stocks and the market. And we will end it with coffee. Go for it.
Yeah, I was actually looking at this one earlier too, and kind of undecided what to do, because you can either trade coffee futures, or there is this I think it's an ETN. Yeah, it's an ETN. It's not an ETF. Yeah. It's a little bit extended here, but the trend is really nice, right? So I think as long as this, it's a beautiful looking trend. So what to do now? Because I don't own any of this, and I was trying to think about this. Probably, it's up 2.8%. I would, like, if I had to, I would start a small position and then look to add on dips. But it's really tough when you bring up a chart and you see that it's a little bit extended, it's away from the 50-day moving average and some of the other short-term moving averages. You kind of feel like you missed it. But if you look at this overall trend, the trend looks really great. So I might actually end up doing that today, is just putting some type of a placeholder position on, just so I have it on my books. And then I can kind of go and add if it dips back at some point to like 66, 65, somewhere in there. Because, what happens sometimes if you think, oh, it's extended, and, you feel like you missed it, 2 months later, this thing could be up to 70, 74, and you could have a nice profit, even though you chased a little bit.
Christian Fromhertz, a pleasure as always. Thank you for sharing your insights with us, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Spencer. Have a great day, guys.
All right, guys, hit that like button for Christian Fromhertz. That guy is the man. He is like the nicest guy, like just him in his WeWork, ripping through charts. Seriously, the guy there are very few people out there that will post their winners and their losers, and will be honest about when they've had a big win or a big loss, and he does that. He is, for my money, like top tier follow. If you want to know more about him, Tribeca Trade Group is his service. Check it out. Can't recommend that enough. Thank you, Fiero. I appreciate the like button. What we did not do yesterday, Aaron? We did not do a crypto update. It was very bad of us.
Time to do a crypto update,
because we haven't done one now since last week. Not great, Bob. Here's a crypto update brought to you by Voyager. All right, the heat map is on this. No, it's not on the screen.
Don't lie to us, Spencer.
Come on, it's because my internet is there. It is. Okay, here's the crypto heat map for the day. You can see mostly red. Obviously, we were coming off a nice bounce back with Bitcoin up above 43, ETH back above 3,000, and Solana up above 110. So, recent trend is recent trend higher, but you're seeing much more red today. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just going to continue to buy more Bitcoin and Ethereum every single month in small amounts going forward. But I have nothing. I have no recent trades. I have nothing new to add. I don't see anything here that even really excites me. I own Bitcoin.
Near still up there?
Near is still up here. Near is
I care about.
Yeah, Near is still up 264% in the last year, but is actually down 16% year to date.
No, not Near.
Anyway, I've only got the three: the Bitcoin, Ethereum, the Solana. I could add more, but I feel like I don't want to get too crazy with it. So if you want some free Bitcoin, it's very easy to get. Just download the Voyager app, enter the sign up code ZING, ZING. Fund your account with $100, make a trade, and they will send you $50 in Bitcoin when you do those things. So again, Voyager, Zing, $100 account, make a trade. Check that out. The other thing we didn't do yesterday that we forgot to was promotion for our old friends at Rocket Mortgage.
No, we did that yesterday.
Oh, we did that, right. We're going to do it again today. Rohan, can you get my Rocket Mortgage Squares graphic up, please? Thank you. RocketMortgageSquares.com. On Friday's show, Aaron and I are going to enter
The Super Bowl.
We're going to enter the Super Bowl on Friday's show.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say we're going to the Super Bowl. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I've never been to Los Angeles, so that would be fun. But no, we're not doing that. We'll be entering these squares live on this show. Scan the QR code on your screen to enter, and you could win up to $500,000 in prizes. Check it out. If you don't know what squares are, it's a really fun game. All you do is you claim there's a giant grid with the x-axis is one team, the y-axis is another team, and you guess what the score of the game will be at certain points. It's very fun. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. We'll talk about it more on Friday. But check it out, RocketMortgageSquares.com to enter the contest and win some prizes, but not Benzinga swag. Thank you, producer Rohan. All right, it is 1:37. Aaron, Patrick Star wants to know what happened to Obama coin.
It was funny when we were doing the heat map. I actually went and looked at that on my own to check up on it.
How we doing?
Decent.
Really?
I think we're up from when I first brought it up. Let me check. Down today, but it's crypto. We'll bounce back. It's my life savings in there right now.
Oh, that's great. Someone in the chat asked if we can do a meta. Is that what was said?
Do a meta?
Someone asked if we can do Tesla, please, or Facebook. Yeah, I want to pull up that Facebook chart. I've felt this way about Facebook for quite some time, and I'll repeat what I said the other day. If I had a way of not owning Facebook while owning the rest of the S&P 500, I would do it, but I don't. I guess I theoretically could counteract my position with some puts, but I'm not going to do that. I don't like Facebook. I can't help that it's part of these big indexes, but I don't like or Meta, sorry. I don't like the company. The stock may well come back. I still wouldn't like it, frankly. I don't like the business. I don't like the product. I like nothing about them. I want no part of Meta. The metaverse itself seems cool, but I want no part of Mark Zuckerberg. That's just how I feel right now.
Yeah, I think there are more interesting names in the metaverse space to play. I think Unity, I think Roblox are all more interesting right now than Facebook. I will say for the long-term bull case on Meta, I think it is very dependent on their Oculus or whatever they end up calling it, because if that does end up being the leader, and this gets far enough ahead to where like everyone wants one of these in their house, and whoever's the leader of that hardware that's being sold out there will do pretty well.
Well, Facebook has tried with Oculus. I'm sorry, I keep saying Facebook. Meta has tried to get there with Oculus, and I know they had a strong holiday season, but that's all I know. Been around for a couple years now, and technology is still not quite there, as far as I understand it. So I'm not there. To echo Aaron's point, there are many, many, many other things I'd rather buy before Meta.
Yep.
Frankly. And then he also asked about Tesla. I've been wrong about Tesla every which way for the last few years. Whenever I get bearish, it goes up. When I get bullish, it goes down. So I'm not the person to ask here.
I think it's still in a downtrend for now. I think kind of until
let's go to a weekly. Yeah, I don't really know.
I think we need something a little bit more that shows me some wind at the back before we can say, okay, Tesla's out of this downtrend. That not a huge downtrend, but still.
I own Tesla because I got the ARKW. Speaking of, how is my ARKW doing? ARKW, where you at? ARK Next Gen Internet ETF. All right, it stopped going down. Something to hang on to.
There you go.
While I have hope. When did I buy this? Did I buy it in January or February 2020? I don't know. I think I bought it somewhere around like in the 60s. I bought in the 60s. Aye. That was the breaks. That's why investing is
Firat's
difficult.
asking where the SoFi bull is at.
I'm still around. I'm still here. What's my SoFi cost basis? 21? I think it's 21.
Ooh, yikes. You're almost
Yeah.
cut in half.
I am almost cut in half. That's correct. But again, they got that bank. This is one that you're gonna have to just. What I'm doing is just putting it in a drawer. I don't even think about SoFi except when people bring it up to me, right? You kind of just have to stick it in a drawer and forget about it. And hey, if I'm wrong, well, it's a good thing I only own like 50 shares, right? If I'm wrong, I don't even know how many shares I own. It ain't that many, tell you that. And if I'm right, then go me. You know what I'm nervous about today, Aaron?
What's that?
I'm nervous for Disney.
Really?
They report earnings. I'm sorry, that's tomorrow. They report earnings tomorrow, so we can talk about that on tomorrow's show. But I'm not feeling. I'm not going to sell my Disney, but I'm not feeling super confident here about the stock. It had that huge Disney Plus run up, and I just don't know if the market cares as much anymore about that. So we'll find out tomorrow. We were supposed to live stream the Peloton earnings call after the close today, but they pre-reported, and the conference call was this morning, so we're not going to do that tonight anymore. We actually don't really have. I guess Chipotle is of interest. I don't know if we're going to stream any calls. Maybe we'll stream Chipotle tonight. Let's go look at the calendar in Pro.
I think Chipotle will be interesting, actually.
Wait, let's go to just today. Hold on. Earnings. Whoa. What's today's date? The 8th?
Yep.
Okay. Let's look at today. Oh, come on. Get out of there. This freaking bug is pissing me off. Okay, here we go. We'll go after hours. Who do we see that's interesting to us? Let's filter out the companies that are already reported, so we can get rid of before market open and just see the companies that are reporting tonight. Let's sort it by estimated revenue. Biggest companies go first. Who do we see? Yeah, Chipotle is interesting. I'm sorry, who did you just say was interesting to you?
I said I think streaming Chipotle's call would be interesting.
Oh, Lyft is tonight. Chipotle, Lyft. Okay. I agree with you because inflation.
Well, I mean, yeah, Chipotle's dealing with all these different things between rising costs of their inputs, rising labor costs, shortage of labor, Omicron, which I think Chipotle and more ordering online is actually better for Chipotle. But I don't know about you or anyone out there in the chat. I mean, I recently have tried to go to Chipotle and they were like out of everything.
Yeah, I ate there I think a month ago, and they were having some serious supply problems. They had there was 4 things that they were out of, which is interesting. It's just such an expensive. Can you imagine if they did a stock split? Chipotle do a stock split. That'd be pretty epic. Stock would blast up like 20% on that news if that were to happen. So, okay, I think this is the plan. The Chipotle conference call is at, I think, 4:30 tonight, p.m. Eastern Time. Let's confirm that right now. The conference call is at 4:30. So let's stream that. And we'll also stream... Time is the Lyft call. They're at the same time. We could do them both. I don't know. Do we care about Lyft? As much? How's the stock doing?
Lyft's trading really well into earnings, actually.
Yeah. All I see though is a series of lower highs and lower lows on the daily. That's all I see. I don't know. It's right at its 50-day. That's interesting. I don't know if I care about Lyft, honestly. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see Uber move with Lyft's report.
Yeah.
When does
Well,
Uber
no,
reports?
Uber is Thursday.
Right.
Uber is right, or is it tomorrow? Wait.
It's either tomorrow or Thursday.
Wait, where's my calendar? Uber is tomorrow. Sorry, Uber is tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow morning, so we're gonna have Chipotle tonight. Tomorrow morning we have Yum Brands, which is like KFC and Taco Bell and Pizza Hut. And then after the close, Disney, Uber, Twilio. Big three tomorrow. MGM as well. Very interesting.
Yeah, Yum Brands could be interesting after the earnings.
When's the last time you ate? I haven't eaten at any of these.
I ate at Taco Bell like either last weekend, the weekend before, maybe.
Dude, I haven't had fast food. I want fast food. I haven't had fast food in so long.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even know the last fast food I had. Yeah. I don't know, man. I also can't be doing that stuff because I have to look decent
You got a wedding coming.
for this wedding, so I can't be doing the fast food thing. Oh, I missed Canopy. Thank you, Shannon. I don't know if I care about Canopy, honestly. Like, I don't know if I care about any of the Canadian cannabis plays right now.
I think Yum. Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, someone in the chat, Michael AP says Yum looks to have good earnings. What is there a thesis behind there?
I don't know. To me, I'm kind of afraid of every single restaurant stock right now. And I know a couple of them had good, like I know Darden had really good numbers, right? DRI. Didn't they blast off on their report? I can't see it on the, this is a weekly. Let's go to a daily. Didn't Darden like rip higher on their earnings
I
report?
don't remember that.
I feel like they did.
You have cake. You have.
I just feel like I'm afraid of every restaurant between the labor shortage, between rising costs of food. It's not like you can, charge. You can't charge $10 for a glass of soda. Nobody will buy it. So they can only charge so much for this stuff. Restaurants is already a low margin business to begin with. So I am just staying away from all restaurant stocks, even the ones that I like Chipotle. This other one called First Watch. But no, I want no part of Chipotle of any restaurant right now. Sorry. That's funny. Born to be free. What do you think of AMC above 1623?
You think it's above there? You're saying?
Well, this is from the chat. This is from who asked that? Stu.
Oh, it's above 1623 right now.
Shh. Oh, all right. I mean, hey. This is clear as day, right? Oh, can I borrow your charger, man? I'm about to die over here. This is clear as day. You've got yourself a pretty clear line on the sand. Pretty clear support there. What's that? 14. How many lows here? What is that? 1460, 14. Look, just call it 1450. Because that's the low from the 28th. Oh no, actually that was 13. Wow. All right. So for the moment, let's just say this. Above 1450, you're bullish. Below it, you're not. Because how many lows in the same area do you have? I like it when you have highs or lows that are close together. 1, 2. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lows together in AMC. So above that's my level. I don't know if you have any I don't know about resistance. I mean, you got resistance all the way up here is resistance. This whole thing is resistance, right? So that's a trade setup right there, right? Do I buy AMC? Yeah, you can buy AMC now, and your stop is 1450. That's simple. You can put on any trade as long as you have an out. I'm not going to do that personally, but you can if you want.
Yeah, I think anytime you have a defined level, you can set that stop loss at.
Oh yeah.
And
then stick with it is the trick.
Yeah, it really sets up for kind of a stress-free trade, right? Okay, it breaks down. The thesis works against you. You hit your stop loss. Okay, no harm, no foul. The trade works out in your favor and it goes up. Then all you have to do really is set a price target that you want to sell at and take some profits or trim on the way up.
It's sometimes it can be shockingly simple. It really can be. So not bad. This is a takeaway there. I don't actually hate that chart. What else we got here? Oh, Michael says that Yum has a better control on their supply chain.
See, I actually agree because the other night I tried to go to McDonald's.
You couldn't?
Well, they were closed, and so we ended up going to Taco Bell instead.
Anyone like Shop? All right, Shopify and Google here. We'll do those two. Shop is I want to own Shopify. Maybe I should buy Shopify here as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the stocks that you can sit back and wait on forever because it's so expensive. But right now it's on sale. I mean, it's 50% off.
Maybe we should buy Shopify. You know what? I'm going to move this one. I don't know if I'm going to buy it right now, but I'm going to move this one to like the top of my shopping list. Pun intended. Shopify is like, they are, as far as I know, they don't have a competitor. Who's their competitor? Who is enabling small businesses to go online in the same way Shopify is? No one. Etsy doesn't really count, right? So, I mean, it's a different business. So, for a long-term thing, I like Shopify. For a short-term thing, same idea, right? Same exact idea. This is so simple. And you can use whatever you want. You can use Fibonacci's. You can use moving averages. You can use the VWAP. In this case, I'm literally just looking at like Harlan Pyan is an old friend of Pre-Market Prep. He used to come on our show years ago, and he used to always say, if you look at a chart and you can't tell what the chart says in 5 seconds, you're doing it wrong. So you look at this chart for 5 seconds, and what do you see? You see a series of lows. You have some support. Okay, let's hang your hat on 780. Now, that's a long ways away from now. It's $90 away. But that's what you get when you buy a stock that's $800 a share. I would even say, what's that, 792? And I would even say just 800 as some support. Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. But for the long term, though, I do want to. I'm going to put this one on the top. This is what I'm going to like. I have to let it marinate now for a few days. Well, now that I got the idea, I got to let it marinate.
Yeah,
and then maybe we'll. You're
going to be kicking yourself if this is trading 5% higher.
And then Google. We'll do Google right now.
Google, I like right here.
Oh, the gap. The gap fill works 90% of the time, every single time. That's not the saying, but I just made that up. What's the saying? 60% of the time?
I don't know.
60%. Look at that gap fill. Oh, earnings, right? They blew it away on earnings. Is that what that was? That's what that was. It was earnings. They crushed it. And back down we go. Wow. What was that high? That pre-earnings day? 2764. What was the low here? 2796. No, 2737. Wow. Filled the gap entirely. I don't know. Long term, it's Google. How can you bet against Google long term? Short term now.
Especially you got the stock split coming.
Yeah, remind me when that is, June?
I think sometime around there. But hey, if you get in now before it hits, and once it hits,
wow,
ooh, baby,
it is remarkable how gaps. Like I did not subscribe to like that theory for a long time, but it is remarkable how gaps tend to come back into play. Stocks will come back down or go back up to fill those gaps. It's crazy how that works out.
Yeah, I
It's
think
like black magic wizardry.
A lot of instances, especially recently, we can pull up where that hasn't happened, where a stock like Snapchat or someone misses on an earnings report and then goes down 20%, and the gap doesn't fill immediately. So, if the trend is there, if it looks like it's filling though, then it's definitely a good bet that will happen, that the gap will finish filling. But a lot of times, bad earnings report, stock continues to trade lower versus coming right back up.
Mario says we should do our DD on Oxygen. Oh gosh, let's save that for Thursday. All right, we have Vivi on the show.
Well, Oxygen is all the way back down to.
Let's save the Oxygen question for Vivi. I can't. Holy moly.
That one went crazy. Look how.
Yeah. One. Oh my gosh. This thing got, how high did it get? 16? 17? Got to 17. We're down to 3. Take what the chart. I mean, it's telling you loud and clear, right? I'm sorry if you're in this thing. I really am. I don't know the story at all, but
Yeah, it's kind of like Sava.
maybe the lesson here is, look, the bag holders from the summer got bailed out in November. If you sold it then, maybe it happens again. Who the heck knows? I don't know. That's brutal. You know what though, and Stratego brings up a point. Stratego, I kind of think we're going to be in for a pretty strong retail earnings season, which kind of starts this week with Under Armour on Friday, but mostly next week and the week after. I'm very excited for retail earnings season. It was a strong holiday season. You saw a lot of retailers came out and report strong numbers for the holiday shopping season. And then you have a lot of retail stocks that are like doing surprisingly well.
Ooh, you know what?
Like Macy's, right? Nordstrom, Best Buy. So we're all doing surprisingly well. Like, I'm going to pull up that Macy's chart. And then what were you going to say? And then we'll wrap it up.
I gave a stock a week or two ago on here that I liked right now. That's doing really well today. Asana up 10%, 9%.
All right, I'll pull that up right next. Look at Macy's. It's not doing that bad, right? Nordstrom, not doing that bad. No, that's the exception. Sorry. Strike the record. Nordstrom sucks.
Dillard's, DDS.
That doesn't count. That's like a... Dillard's has like a float of like 2.
Macy's. You already did that one.
I did Macy's. TJX, right? Look at TJX. Not doing that bad. Look at Best Buy. Target. Oh, that Best Buy chart. Never mind. Target strong. Well, relative. I don't know. I'm excited for retail. I don't think retail could be as bad as some people may think. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. And then Asana.
Yeah.
You bought this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How's your Asana doing? You bought it like last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I'm up like I was down a couple days. Now I'm up. I mean, the thesis hasn't even played out yet. I'm trying to swing this all the way back up to like $70.
Hey, yeah, the gap fill. We're still a ways away from that, but you never know. All right, everyone, we got to wrap because the roadmap is coming up live next. Stay tuned. Can you check to make sure our redirect is set?
I'm doing that right
because
as we speak.
I screwed up this morning and did not redirect from pre-market prep to live trading, and I got yelled at. But
see, I made sure live trading was redirected here. Which
I
it wasn't.
appreciate that.
I said it.
Appreciate that. So the roadmap. If you don't,
shoot!
What?
I put something in the description that we forgot to get to today.
What would you put?
So right now, Bill Ackman, Pershing Capital,
damn.
only owns 7 stocks, and we were going to go through those, but we'll do it tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow. All right, we got to go. The roadmap NFTs live next. YouTube.com/Benzinga. Hey, some PSAs real fast. If you see fake Benzinga out there, if you see something, say something. Email us. scamreports@benzinga.com. Second thing, if you want a free subscription to Benzinga Pro, free 2 weeks, check out this link below. Also, it gives you a 25% discount. So I'll make sure those links are in the description. Third thing, hit that like button. And any feedback, email us, please. shows@benzinga.com.
Boom.
That's a wrap for us. We're going somewhere else. Going to the roadmap.
Roadmap. Stay tuned. This stream will automatically redirect you. Peace.
How do we end this show?